Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. It's time for us to stream the quarterfinals between Etomkin and Glorak. These two have made it through their brackets in a pretty stellar journey from top to bottom. But before I get to talking about that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce my co-caster for today, unlike usual, where we have the astute, the intrepid, and the very polished Arrover, our TO. Instead, this time I've got a human servitor with fingers so fast he can type in the links faster than you can ask for them. We've got the Pants joining me today as my co-caster. Hello!
Good evening, Alpha!
For those of you that don't know, the Pants is a judge for the Alpha League team, and a fine gentleman that we actually had a nice talk with the other day, talking about, what was it again? You know what? I can't actually remember for the life of me. Right, fair play, which was a very important topic at the time and still is, but that's neither here nor there. For today, I'd like to go ahead and just do a couple of quick announcements. First and foremost, if you're in the playoffs, keep playing your games, please. You're doing great. We have a bunch of people already. The quarterfinals are getting underway. If we can get through the semis and the finals within the next week and a half, that'd be awesome. But we'll see what we can do. Secondly, if you are listening to the music and you're like, hey, those tunes are pretty dope, guess what? You can check them out for yourself. They're free to listen to, play to, and add to your own streams and stuff. Thanks to the generous and talented Argo Fox, ARGOFOX, over on YouTube. Go ahead and check them out. And yeah, they're on YouTube. That's about it for that. Look, today's match is going to be a little bit on the nuts side. I think it's worth saying that both of these players have made it quite a way, but one of them is definitely playing a list that is extremely crazy and tough, and the other list is much the same, but also involves a lot more demons. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're looking at for the armies and the mission and the layout and everything else. So, in the red corner...
I'm usually looking forward to this match.
Yeah,
me too. I have no idea what to expect from it. It's certainly a battle of the Titans.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit crazy. Now, for those of you that are currently in the chat, keep in mind I'm in a new streaming environment. I have no idea how this is going to look, and if it starts looking real choppy, I apologize in advance. As it stands right now, though, in the red corner, we have Etomkin, a.k.a. EDT, the Season 5 champion, and part of the casting team, and the last standing member of the casting team. Actually, Rallo went down in the quarterfinals? The semi-quarterfinals. But yeah, EDT sitting here. He's brought his Morty, Chowder, and in the blue corner, we've got Glorak, first time on stream, sitting here with a Custodes, Shadow Keepers group patrol. I think. Actually, it's probably a Vanguard if I had to guess, and then a small Scions detachment as well. Yeah, no, it's gonna be pretty sick. I'm really looking forward to it. There's definitely something to say, about the EDT matchup though. Here, I'm a little spooked for Glorak, but if anybody can take him out, hey, it's the Custodes. So let's go ahead and get started. The mission itself is Vital Intelligence. This is a domination mission. Hold 2, hold 3, hold more are your primaries. You get 5 points for each of those conditions, and it's on the purple table of Doom. There's a decent amount of, there's more dense and difficult ground on this table type than there are in any other of these table types, and there's plenty of line of sight blocking, which means that this is going to be a very melee-heavy, melee-friendly map, and also a map that is friendly to our Plague Burst friends over here in the red corner. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and take a look at EDT's list. EDT's list, very quickly put, it's nasty. It's a soup that is primarily based around Mortarion here, Lord of the Death Guard and Primarch of the whatever Legion. I think it's the... Man, someone can help me out with that one. I actually don't know which Legion, which numbered Legion he's from. I'm not that far into the lore, and yeah, anyway. So Mortarion's here. He's big, he's mean. If you haven't seen him across your table yet, you don't have any clue how frustrating he could be to deal with. He is backed up by a sorcerer who has a small squad of cultists to back him up. The sorcerer is just what he is. And he is of the Word Bearers detachment, which means that he can go ahead and auto-cast for instance, Warp Time or Prescience, of which he has access to both. Joining them, we have the Death Guard. And the Death Guard consists of one patrol, I think? Let me just check this one out for you. I can actually post both the lists in the chat for you. Let me just go ahead. Here's our Chowder list. And then we've got our Custodes list right here. Boom.
Vanguard, Death Guard.
It's a Vanguard. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. The Vanguard is headed up by a Death Guard Demon Prince. It's got 2 squads of Poxwalkers, 2 Deathshroud Champion squads, the Virians being a Foul Blight spawn and a Tallyman as per usual. You got 2 Fetid Bloat Drones, 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, and a Chaos Spawn. What this turns into is effectively a wing of Fetid Bloat Drones and the Demon Prince jumping around super fast, being a second wave after Mortarion. The Plague Burst Crawlers sit in the back and bombard anything that comes too close, and you've got the Deathshroud Champions acting as goalies, while the rest of the army just kind of supports Mortarion doing his thing. Pants, you've seen this list in action. What do you think about it?
In the challenge brackets that Curie kindly set up for us right at the start of the playoffs, I had EDT to win. I am super scared of this list, having seen it once in action before, and I have no idea how most lists would handle it at all. Tonight, however, we might be about to see the exception.
Before we go to that list, though, nope, they're not at their secondaries yet. So never mind, we are going to go straight on to Glorak's list. Now this is an interesting one. I don't know Custodes super well, but to put it bluntly, you have a Shadow Keeper's Vanguard detachment backed up by a patrol of Scions. There's also an assassin. Wherever they are. There they are. So, yeah, Pants, how about you run through this list for me?
Alrighty, so what have we got here? So the Custodes, as you can see, are pretty big on dreadnoughts. So we'll start with the big boys. We've got a pair of Telemons, both with the Storm Cannon and the Fist, so they can do their work both at range and close up. Then we've got triple Contemptor Achilles, who are, well, I mean, they're weedier, but no one in their right mind is going to call them. They've also got plenty of shooting with the Twinodrathic Destructors. Although they only have an 18-inch range, they can do a reasonable amount of damage. And they've also got the Achilles Dread Spear, which can put out strength 8 shots at 24 inches and also do a bunch of damage in melee.
Yeah.
Led by Shield Captain. No bikes to be seen in this list. Glorak is perfectly happy to stomp up on foot for the most part. He's got, obviously, the Indomitable Constitution and Superior Creation, making him incredibly hard to kill. Castellan Axe for extra melee killage. Eagle's Eye, I can't remember what Eagle's Eye is. I don't suppose you happen to know off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, no, sadly.
Yeah, mine. And having changed tab, that was silly. 10,000 heroes. We've got prosecutors. Prosecutors, as in Sisters of Silent, are a reasonably common thing to see in Custodes lists these days. They help. They're often brought to do actions, but of course, Glorak doesn't have to worry about that because he's got all of those lovely Scions as well. But they assist against Psychers, and they have a variety of shenanigans that can come into play against enemy Psychers, including reducing rolls within, I think, 18 inches, and some strats that can bring some pain. And of course, although they're no Custodes, they are power armored, so they are still not that easy to remove either. Vexilus Praetor, naturally, with the Vexilla Magnifica, which I assume is the -1 to hit one.
It is, absolutely. And Eagle's Eye, by the way, increases the invulnerable save up to a 3++. So, yoinks! But yeah, Vexilus Praetor with the Vexilla Magnifica is the -1 to hit, which is excellent to have around with this kind of list. It makes everything that much more durable.
Absolutely, especially against those the Plague Burst Crawlers, which are already hitting on 4s.
No, they're hitting on 3s now, actually.
Oh, right, yeah. So bringing them back to 4, exactly what you need to survive. You stomp up the board. The Scions are all just as they come, just hot shot last guns, primarily there for point scoring.
Yeah, and a sneaky little Calexis Assassin. I'm not sure if you went over that one, but this little guy in the background is one of the most safe assassins, since you can't target. It effectively has the old rules for characters. You can't target it unless if it's the closest, effectively. It also doubles down as a psychic defense, something that the Custodes tend to lack. And yeah, you come together with a list that has a lot of offense and a huge amount of defense all wrapped up into a tiny elite package. And in this particular case, what I like is the Science attachment mixed up with the Prosecutor Sisters. Allows you a lot more ground, a lot more screening, a lot more board control than you normally would have in a list like this. Whether or not it's enough, we'll have to see, particularly with the Scions being what they are. Now, we've gone over that stuff. Let's take a look at our secondaries for today. In the red corner for EDT, we've got ourselves Engage on All Fronts, While We Stand, We Fight, and Data Intercept. The Pants, what do you think about these secondaries?
So just a reminder for anyone who's unaware, Data Intercept is the mission special one on this. You can perform it with any unit from your army as long as it is on an objective. It scores. It's an action that scores at the beginning of your next command phase and scores you 1 victory point for every objective that you hold at that time. I think this is pretty much what I would have expected from ADT. He's got a lot of mobility with the drones, Morty obviously being relatively fast himself, and the durability to stay in those corners once he gets to them. The list is built for While We Stand, We Fight, and he often expects to lose Morty, but is perfectly happy to score 10 nonetheless. And Data Intercept is always a popular pick, as long as you don't anticipate particular difficulties in holding objectives, and Death Guard never do, then it's a decent way to score pretty well. Over with Glorak, we're not surprised to see deploy scramblers with.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Here, I'll handle Glorak secondaries, and then we can talk about both of them. Glorak has gotten deploy scramblers, data intercept, and cut off the head. Data intercept, same as EDT. Deploy scramblers, a really reliable thing if you can go ahead and get past some screens and everything. In this map in particular, it's difficult, but since he's got the Scions, it's a lot easier than it would be normally. And cut off the head is a really good counter pick here. I actually like it, though it does give EDT the chance to kind of control those points a bit. It does mean that EDT has to now think carefully about whether or not he throws away Morty, because Morty has to be the Warlord, being taken to the detachment that he is. Here's the thing. While We Stand, We Fight is worth 5 points for Morty, right? And although EDT is normally very happy to just throw him away, in this game, he can't just do that, especially against Custodes, who can really hit very, very hard. Which means that right now, he has to keep Morty back if he wants to deny cut off the head and keep his While We Stand, We Fight points. Probably the right choice.
Cut off the head. Wonderful pick here. Basically saying, yeah, you can send Morty at me if you want, but you better think twice about it.
Yeah, and I like that idea. The thing I'm worried about with the idea is that it gives complete control of the secondary to EDT, rather than being able to hold on to it, guarantee those points for himself. It's an interactive secondary, where normally, competitively speaking, you're looking for those non-interactive ones. For those of you that pay attention to certain, like Goonhammer articles or other places that like to do analyses of secondaries and stuff like that, even Mikey from Hellstorm Wargaming came out with a stream recently where he talked about secondaries and how Codex secondaries are their own thing. That's its own subject. But he does look over some stats, and cut off the head is pretty bad. So we'll have to see if it works out in his favor. If anything, being able to effectively tell EDT, look, if you want to go ahead and keep 1/4 of your army inert while my army does its thing, I'm happy to do so. And that actually might be a gamble that's worth taking here. We'll have to see. I love the idea. I just wonder if the execution will pull off.
Exactly. It's just going to make it an even more interesting game than it already was.
Mm-hmm.
And just something to highlight, you talked about the risk inherent in deploy scramblers. Two things that mitigate it somewhat are, firstly, that there's a large portion of the deployment zone here with a very open set of sightlines that the Telemons, the Dreadnoughts should be able to clear anything that's trying to prevent the arrival of some Scions to scramble in EDT's deployment zone. Secondly, that Glorak's Scions are 9th Iotan Gorgons, which means they have access to the stratagem that lets them deep strike within 5 inches instead of 9.
Yes.
Makes it much harder to screen out.
Mm-hmm. Now, normally you'd see something like that and think, wow, a squad of Melta Scions sounds great. And it is. But in this case, it practically guarantees deploy scramblers. Even with these two Plague Burst crawlers in the background being the screens that they are, and they are very effective screens, it comes at the downside that, 9 inches suddenly becoming 5 means that these Plague Burst crawlers and a whole bunch of other things have to be far more precise about their movement and where they're going. And if the chaff starts poking its head out anywhere, the Telemon Dreadnoughts and the Achilles Dreadnoughts will be able to do some decent damage. Even the basic, Shield Captain and, other things around the list can definitely do some work. And it's not like the Scions are completely inert either. Hotshot lasguns aren't great, but they can definitely do some work against something like Cultists, and can put in a couple of plink wounds onto something like Deathshroud Champions and Deathshroud Terminators. They're wounding on 5s, but the AP -2 is perfect for dealing with those invulnerable saves. Now, deployment here is already looking pretty good. We have 2 Hidden Plague Burst crawlers using the obscuring keyword here from these runes to keep this one alive and this one alive in some way, shape, or form. But they're probably not going to die the whole game long, would be my guess. The Fetid Bloat Drone seem to be taking this northern flank up here in an effort to control the 2 objectives closest to Glorak's deployment zone. On the south side, we have the Deathshroud Terminators, some Poxwalkers, and the Foul Blightspawn taking up the southern flank here in an effort to try to control his own objectives down here. Remember, this is being Vital Intelligence. The objectives are hold 2, hold 3, hold more. It's a tough one. The only good news is that if you get an objective and you start your command phase on it, you hold it even if you move off of it. Age of Sigmar style. So this actually really helps out Glorak and can help out EDT as well. It means that you can go ahead and push forward and not you don't have to be super defensive. You can try to be more offensive if you wish. Mind you, in this particular matchup, we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Over on Glorak's side of things, we got the Sisters, the Battle Sisters. Not the Sisters of Battle, but the Sisters of Silence here, just sitting on this objective back here, ready to do some actions, to do some other stuff. So there seems to be some pre-measurement to see whether or not they can get some line of sight and some shooting down. The good thing about these guys is that they can also shoot Psychers with additional bonuses and such. I'm not sure what those additional bonuses are off the top of my head, because I so frequently do not see them do anything offensive, but hey, we'll have to see what happens. The Colexis Assassin is also down the southern side.
Basically just spooks your opponent a little bit and makes them play a little bit more carefully with their Psychers than often actually getting to do their thing.
Yeah, that's true. One of the main things here, though, is that even though they make it more difficult to cast, them and the Colexis, the Sorcerer over on EDT's side doesn't actually care. Being Word Bearers, you can just spend a CP, take a Mortal Wound, and call it a day. Which means that all the anti-psyker stuff that Glorak has on his list, which I would normally love, ends up kind of just costing EDT the CP he was going to use anyway. Yeah, we'll have to see if that actually works out.
So we talk about the guaranteed warp time, and there it is, but that's not the only thing that EDT is looking to cast.
No, there's also Prescience. The Prescience can definitely do some work with the Plague Burst Crawlers, with the Deathshroud Champions, even with the Fetid Bloat Drones. Those things with the Flesh Mowers can absolutely do work. At a +1 to hit? Yikes.
Also, speaking of hit, Miasma.
Miasma. He can cast... The Word Bearer's Sorcerer can cast Miasma?
Morty can.
Oh, yeah, Morty can. That's absolutely true. And he doesn't get the I ignore your minuses to cast, things. So if he stacks the Colexis with the Sisters, that can actually do some stuff to Mortarion. Now, good play can negate a good chunk of that and could avoid that at least turn 1. But yeah, we'll have to see. Turn 1 here actually is going to be interesting. What do you think? Who do you think would benefit more from having first turn here?
It's a good question. I think that because of Glorak's cut off the head play, EDT is going to be looking to effectively build up a secondary lead by playing relatively cautiously, taking this half of the board, and not committing Mortarion and other significant forces until a little later. So I think that he would probably actually rather get first turn, just so that effectively Glorak has fewer turns to move out before the point at which he's happy that cut off the head is scoring low enough that it's time to commit.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I would agree with you there. At the same time, though, I think he'd be perfectly happy going second as well, since there are very few things that are actually out there to shoot. There's very few lines of sight to actually work with. And we're going to go ahead and get this roll to go first now. We'll have to see how this goes. In reserves, by the way, there's nothing reserves on EDT's side. On Glorak's side, we got 2 Silent Squads and the Venatari. So, yeah, the table is set. Fate has been, laid bare, and we'll have to see whether or not Lady Luck favors one or the other. But this game's pretty much good to go. We're going to have to... who do you think's going to win this one? Who do you think's favored, Pants?
Well, like I said, I originally put my money on EDT. Glorak is quite confident about this. He thinks that he has the tools to deal with this list better than most.
And EDT goes first?
Glorak was very kind enough to put up a poll about the result of this match, allowing me to vote the other way, which means that no matter who wins, I'm guaranteed to be right at least once.
Hey, even a broken clock is correct twice a day.
Exactly.
So at this stage, EDT does get to go first, despite rolling a 2 for the first turn. Glorak does roll that infamous 1, and we're gonna have to see what EDT does. My prediction. He's going to start moving his southern flank out hard to be able to start taking these objectives and start scoring points nice and early if he can. This northern flank, I'm not so sure. I think it might go a bit more central if it's going to go anywhere. And the choice he makes with Morty here is going to be critical. There's one of two things that EDT will do. Either he is going to hold him back, which is what I expect EDT will do, and just keep him there in that little nook and just, keep him safe for a turn or two. Or he's going to still play aggressive. Toss him into this little nook down here on the south side and then get ready for a turn 2 charge to try to really hit the Custodes as hard as possible. Now, the Custodes are actually going to be very difficult to remove. Between the Shadowkeeper strat to reduce the strength of weapons by 1, and their just innate toughness, the -1 to hit and everything else, they're going to be very difficult to actually deal with. I'm wondering if EDT might target instead the Chaff. Start using the Bombards to go after the Sisters and the Scions in the back, and start making it very difficult for the Custodes to actually get the board control that they need.
Yeah, one thing worth noting in particular is that the unit you perform data intercept with obviously has to survive the entire turn. So if we can start thinning down that Prosecutor squad, then Glorak's going to have to put some thought into who he actually performs the action with. And someone valuable might have to start sitting around somewhere where they're contributing a bit less.
Yeah. Now, direct assault, I don't think characters are locked out of it.
No, data intercept can be performed by anyone.
Yeah, which means that something like the Vexilla Magnifica could do it, the Captain could do it, the Calexis Assassin could do it. So it's not like he needs the little guys to do it, but it would be handy. And direct, you know what? The thing about data intercept is interesting. Usually, because of the way that it scores, you only get 12 points out of it if you get it every turn for 3 objectives, which is fine. But if anything goes even slightly wrong on that front, which it could, data intercept ends up being a bit of a trap, and EDT's list is actually surprisingly fast. It'll be very interesting to see how Glorak scores on that particular secondary, I think. There we go, Vital Intelligence.
He's managed to get enough movement to claim both of the objectives he was hoping for.
Yep, both of which are going to be a nuisance to get rid of, as lines of sight don't really allow for anything out of these dreadnoughts. There might be a tiny squidge of a line here to these Poxwalkers from here, but that's really about it. The Demon Prince is not going to die or get removed this coming turn. Yeah, so that'll at least guarantee the 5 points needed, but we'll have to see if these Poxwalkers are durable enough to withstand the the Telemon Heavy Dreadnought, which I think they are, honestly.
Are you talking about the yellow Poxwalkers?
Yeah.
Yeah. See the sliver of line of sight you're talking about? Yes, that's fun.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little line right down there. It's almost as if Lockjaw planned for it. Anyway, it will allow for these 2 Poxwalkers to get shot, but if the one Dreadnought doesn't do it, then they'll survive. Being fearless 5-point models, these things are some of the best chaff units in the game. Not to mention they actually do have some pretty frightfully strong, actual damage output with the Virulent Strain strat if you've gone that particular direction.
Actually, it's worth highlighting that the only weaponry that's going to get in range of those Poxwalkers is the beam mode on the Storm Cannon, so he is definitely not wiping that squad.
Oh yeah, and the beam mode's the focus laser, right? Oh gosh, yeah. 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 So yeah, the Poxwalkers will probably be fine. This is definitely going to be a game that's decided turn 2, depending on which choices EDT makes here. We've got one of the Plague Burst Crawlers moving forward to get line of sight on the Telemon Heavy Dreadnought. These Entropic Cannons could definitely do some work here. And it's aggressive in a way I think that works. It's not like the Plague Burst Crawler is going to die anytime soon, even if the Telemon Dreadnought does survive all those shots. You can see here that ET's measuring out his 5-inch circles already, just to start seeing where he's going to have to start plugging holes for turn 2, which actually really helps out, I think. Having first turn here means that the Scions are going to be counterplayed a little bit more... They're going to be counterplayed a little bit harder. Having first turn means you can spread out a bit more and stop deep strikes a little bit more easily. So, yeah, we'll have to see... if EDT is going to sacrifice, his units to screen out as hard as he's going to here.
Yeah, tough ask. I'll be impressed if he manages it.
It'll be very impressive. Like, there's already still a pocket here in the corner where they could easily fit, right? Like,
yeah, and he's already chosen to vacate that pocket. He obviously started with that one covered.
Yeah, and he's moving the bloat drone back. Although that circle doesn't quite extend out towards the full size of the base. If there's one thing that Battlescribe to TTS could use, it's a circle that specifically deals with that size base, because the Void Dragon has the same problem. It's a bit of a sad face. The Chaos Spawn, by the way, zipped up on this northern side. He's going to be a hero all by himself. If anything, the reason why this play exists is because of engage on all fronts. Just to get those 2 points. Which is guaranteed to happen at this point. I'm not sure if EDT is going to go for the 4-point engage unless if he warp times Morty. Like, that's just not going to... Sorry, the 3-point engage unless if he warp times that Morty.
There's no chance he's going for the 3-point engage.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that's happy to give those dreadnoughts the extra movement they'll get from charging it.
Alright, he's moving into the ruins of the Plague Burst Crawlers to be able to see through it now. And he's looking to see if he can't get some range. Now, the Entropy Cannons are 36 inches, which I think means that the Telemon Heavy Dreadnought is actually out of range of it, from what I just saw, measurement-wise. But the mortars certainly aren't. The mortars are definitely within range in both cases, and we'll have to see where those mortars go. The Entropy Cannons from the front one absolutely are within range. However, the Telemon Heavy Dreadnought is a -1 to hit. It's toughness 8. It's got a 4-up invuln save. It'll be interesting to see whether or not that actually does anything to it. I think it's either going to do, like, 4 wounds or it's going to do 0. Would be my guess.
We're seeing a 2d6 being rolled. Are they psychicking?
If they're already in the psychic phase, I'm going to go ahead and just pump up the jams and let's hear the players.
Yep, that's cool.
Let's see, I have Death X, I'm not gonna, or rather, I have Pressing 4 times Eyeball Strength.
Yes, it's the end of the movement phase. We're currently in the psychic phase right now.
Demon Prince is kind of chilling also.
This might be a very quick turn 1.
I will throw my asthma on these Poxwalkers.
Diamond Boots. This is the EDT Morty Chowder.
Yep.
And that's it. Go into the shoot phase. So I'll declare the
Starting shooting now.
Okay, I'm going to spend a CP for strength.
Those entropy cannons are now strength 7.
Yep.
Well, this number doesn't have range, and the order is going to go to.
Thank you, Hawk, by the way.
I assume that 26 of this.
You're now our newest servitor.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Never have I been happier to be replaced.
Cool.
So Mortar going to the prosecutors over on the left side here, the purple prosecutors. My life for the Omnissiah. Excellent. Glad to hear it.
Okay, so entropy's -1 hit, so on 4s. And then
Both
minus
entropy's
one
hit.
wound, essentially, so on 5s.
Both miss, but rerolling the ones, that is a wound.
Save.
Alright.
Passes. No damage.
Oh, alright, and Morty.
6 shots. Oof.
3s. And then on 2s. Rolling 1s. Okay, 3 at -2 on these prosecutors.
Okay, and the prosecutors do have a 3-up save, so they need 5, so that's 3 dead, sadly. Now, I didn't realize this until just now, but these sisters move 7?
The
Dang.
other one is gonna shoot
It's
entropy
fast.
into this guy. And he's going.
They're also very brave. That'll cause no leadership issues for them.
Alright, we're changing tact here. Instead of going after the Achilles Dreadnought, he's tossing it, everything into the Contemptor. Sorry, into the Telemon, he's tossing things into the Achilles.
On 2s.
The Achilles, because it's a U, for reasons. Pass. And then the entropy cannons. 1 hit, no wounds. Stubbers going into something. Oh. Saves.
Fine.
No damage. What? That's the turn. Glorak's turn next now.
Command phase.
So that was roughly what I expected out of the shooting, honestly. And that is going to kind of really determine how this game's going to go now. Because as it stands, Mortarian's probably going to hide back there until such a time that the Plague Burst Crawlers have done some softening up. But as we can see, they're having a hard time doing that. So, it'll be interesting to see where Glorak goes. At this point, the prosecutors are advancing onto this objective to just go ahead and try to nab it, step on it, and then hopefully force the Plague Burst Mortars to actually shoot them again. It's not going to be enough to hold the objective.
Indeed, he's managed to get the movement to get on the objective, but not the movement to get into cover.
Yeah, it might have been worth the going into cover, but then the Chaos Spawn's kind of within charging. I don't know, man. I think that keeping them right where they are is fine, but it'd be nice to have another thing on that objective.
Indeed, that's going to be incredibly difficult to hold, so I should give EDT a small early primary lead.
Yeah. Mind you, it won't be the end of the world. There are other primaries, but he's already ahead in the secondaries as well. This is still EDT's game. It's just, when does he pull the trigger on Morty, if ever? And if he doesn't, then what does Glorak do to punish the fact that a quarter of the Death Guard army is doing nothing? Okay, he's going to the northern flank here, largely ignoring the southern flank with the Death Shroud Terminators and everything else. Yeah, everything's moving up behind this this wall here to stop the entropy cannons from going into them, I guess. Except for the Achilles Dreadnought, who doesn't have an advance and charge strat as far as I know, but is on the objective, happily and safely, and can still shoot this Chaos Spawn in the face, killing it horribly, forcing something else to come out here to get the engage on all fronts. And we have the rest of the castle kind of moving forward. The Achilles Dreadnought moving alongside with it, trying to stay within the reroll 1s and the Vixilla Magnifica, getting the extra offense and the extra defense from the -1 to be hit. Meanwhile, we have a variety of different things back here, just kind of hanging out on this back objective. The Scions are doing their thing as well. I suppose they'll move up and start doing an action if nothing else does. The problem with the data intercept action is that you need to have your guys survive. And there's mortars on the other side here, which is going to make things a little bit more difficult. We do have an Achilles Dreadnought actually moving along the southern flank here. I suppose to start poking around and running some interference if at all possible, but I can't imagine that one Achilles Dreadnought somehow defeats all that stuff there. The Colexus Assassin is going to zip out as well, providing a bubble of psychic malaise, which is, again, fine. But probably not going to do a whole ton of damage right where they are, and they might just die from being where they are, too. The sisters are moving out, it seems. 10 inches.
The Colexus takes some killing because anything you try and put into it is at weapon skill or ballistic skill 6 up.
Oof. Yeah, no, that's gross. I forgot about that for a second. Mind you, he doesn't do a whole ton of offense, but putting him out there does make the assassin annoying to have to deal with, and is already putting out that psychic null nonsense.
Annoyance is pretty the purpose of Colexus.
Yeah, it's also our first time seeing it on stream, as far as I can tell. Speaking of first times being seen on stream, Diamond Boots, this is the first time that Glorak has been on the stream, at least in Season 7, which is going to make this very interesting. And this is a very different kind of matchup. This is the first time I've seen EDT play KG. Most times, EDT has already got engaged on all 4 fronts, is in your face, and yeah, it's just nuts. Now, they're in the Psychic phase.
No.
Let's see what they're doing.
Okay. Yep. I should have done scramblers with the prosecutors, but I declared an advance with them. Ah, balls.
Probably won't matter.
Pardon?
Probably won't end up mattering.
Yeah, it matters to me. Yeah. So this Aculus, everything into the spawn.
Okay.
Advanced, so just the Adriathix hitting on 3s.
It's 3 hits.
Strength 5.
Yeah, not long.
Toughness.
T5
Okay, so 1 at AP3.
just goes through. Damage.
3
So,
damage.
alright, they spawns down to 1 HP.
Telemon's going to shoot everything at it. Burst and Spiculous.
So, this is an entire Custodes Dreadnought army shooting into 1 tiny Chaos Spawn. What are the odds that this thing survives?
Is it not already dead?
Oh.
No, he's had to shoot it with the Telemon as well.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You expect better of the Emperor's Finest, and yet...
Yeah.
Ooh. What are you thinking of doing
that,
there with the
however,
Fellight Spawn?
is all of my shooting because that's everything I can see.
Shooting faces.
So, yep. Over to you.
Round 1.
Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the scores after turn 1 here, so that I can update all my notepads and stuff.
Let's just highlight that, including deployment and the first battle round, that's a cumulative 23 minutes across both players' clocks.
Wow! It's nothing! Like, this has gone super fast. So this is currently the top of turn 2 now. I'm gonna go ahead and just change up there we go. EDT is going to go ahead and score hold 2, hold 3, but not hold more in this particular instance, which is the important reason why the prosecutors are here. As a result, he will score 10 points for that, putting him on a 25 point to 10 point lead at the start of turn 2. Now, that's nothing in 9th edition, so I'm fully expecting that to swing around the other way very quickly. But now we're in a situation where the movement phase has to be an important one. And he's rolling dice. 2 at a time. He's not already in the psychic phase, is he? No. He's not. He's doing other stuff. Okay, so he's moved out the Demon Prince. And it seems like he's going to go after the Colexus Assassin here and try to wipe it out so that way it stops being a problem for him. And this entire southern flank is going to go ahead and shore up here on these 2 objectives, guaranteeing at least 5 points a turn and making things really difficult. These Death Shroud Terminators aren't going to go down without a fight, neither is the Spoxwalker, especially not to 1 Contemptor Aculus Dreadnought. This northern flank, on the other hand, now needs to start making some choices. Engage on all fronts is going to be difficult to do without this Demon Prince effectively sacrificing itself. I'm curious as to whether or not EDT is going to pull the trigger on Mortarion. I don't think he will, now that he's got the ability to do a charge with the Demon Prince instead to get the engage on all fronts. That's wholly possible. One of the big things he needs to keep track of, though, is that this Aculus Dreadnought, is right there, so try not to be too greedy. The Plagueburst Crawlers don't really have a whole lot of targets this turn with their entropy cannons. They do have at least the 1, but the Contemptor Achilles Dreadnought still does have that 4-up invuln save, and is going to be wounded on 4s by those entropy cannons. It's going to be pretty tricky, I think, for those Plagueburst Crawlers to do much this turn, other than guaranteed kill these 2 sisters here. If they don't kill those 2 sisters there, that's going to be a problem. Now, one of the things that's going to make that difficult is this dense terrain in the way. So, we'll see, but they should be dead. 2 mortars later should do the trick. Poxwalkers are going on to this southeast objective, making sure that it's secured in the name of Mortarion and Papa Nurgle. Being very careful not to put themselves anywhere on top of that ruin, making sure to use the obscuring terrain as much as possible, so that we know Daka goes their way. Not that there's much Daka on the southern flank, but you get the idea. It will keep them relatively safe. EDT should probably not forget to move the rest of his Poxwalkers, as that is an illegal move. Haha. The fetid bloat drones are in a bit of a tricky position here. Because right now, do you screen against the Iodine Gargones, or do you not? There's already still a little pocket here for those Scions to fit in, and they can absolutely fit in that pocket. Don't you even think that they can't. To be able to deploy Scramblers in the backfield. For 1 CP, absolutely worth it.
I just don't think he can afford to screen them out. To do so, he's going to have to put important stuff in full view of all of these Dreadnoughts.
Yeah. I'm thinking that at this point, I would honestly just be like, you know what? Screw it. We'll deal with them when they come down, so that way they can't, steal my back objective or anything. But yeah, this is one of those lists you can't really screen super well against. Still, it seems like he's trying to do something with it. He's obviously placing his bubbles in such a way as to create overlapping fields of denying, which is a great album for a 41st Millennium rock group. The northeast corner is still a little bit empty though, so I imagine the Plaguebear's Crawler would have to go back. He's looking for line of sight on this Achilles. He's not going to get it. Yeah, he's not going to get it unless if he moves even further down that way.
It's quite some way off.
Sadly, yeah. You're going to have to commit a bit harder to that move, Mr. Plaguebear's Crawler. That back corner might be a bit small since measuring to vehicles is hard. That's true. That might not actually be the 5 inches. But from my eyeball, that 5-inch circle is actually relatively accurate. And 5 Scions can definitely fit in a pocket that big.
There's about an inch between where the corner... Well, never mind. He's moving it anyway.
Yeah, now there's the problem over on this side, you see. It's kind of like in chess. If a piece moves, it used to be guarding something. So what did it stop guarding? In this case, we got the Plaguebear's Crawler moving out this way. Now there's a pocket over on this side. So how are you going to plug that hole?
No, I think because of how much the little oval digs into that Plaguebear's Crawler, that gap is actually much smaller than it looks. And I don't think
yeah.
fit in there. Especially not when that tank goes there. Never mind.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how this works out. I think he's going to have to toss a bloat drone back here to fill the bubble, or he's just, like you said, he's saying, you know what, screw it, and getting the entropy cannons out onto this Achilles Dreadnought as hard as possible, seeing if he can at least get a kill. Now, this thing isn't impossible to kill. 9 wounds, relatively durable, especially for 4 D3 plus 3 damage shots. The issue is that they'd be wounding on 4s. He'd be having a 4-up invuln save, which so far he's done really well with. Yeah, the Shadowkeeper stratagem here being really, really key in keeping up the survival of these really really big threats, which the Custodes list is just made out of, pretty much. Also, what do the Venatari have again? They've got the Bucklers and the Kinetic Destroyers. Oh, yeah. No, so these guys can easily also become a problem. If the Venatari can get anywhere near some of this chaff, they can go ahead and rip it apart.
Yep. And another thing that could be a little sad for EDT is that with 2 units of Scions in reserve, if he leaves a hole big enough that one of them can come in at 9 inches and perform Scramblers, the other one might well be able to just charge in and tag both of the Plaguebear's Crawlers.
Can you charge out of Daring Descent?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
I do not think you can.
Well remembered.
It would be sick if you could, because at that point, imagine the next model line entry for the Imperial Guard. Now, drop shoot Bulgrin. Oh, we forgot about the 5-inch deep strike with their Bulgrin. Whoopsie daisy. Here we go. Oh,
Bulgrin. I'd be happy enough just to see Bulgrin Scions.
That would be hilarious. Like, imagine how their tiny hats would have to, strap around their eyes. They would look intimidating though, with like with effectively like SWAT helmets and stuff. That'd be sick. Goose asks, why is the screen only 5 inches radius rather than 9? And the reason why is because EDT is looking to try to screen out the Scions. These Scions are from the Iodan Gargones sub-detachment, which means that these... sorry, not sub-detachment. What's the name of their... what's the name of their faction ability for the Imperial Guard?
It's Tempestus Regiment, right?
Regiment, thank you. Because of the regiment, they actually have a 1 CP stratagem to allow them to deep strike within just outside of 5 inches. Yeah, and Corkin says, yeah, that's why Glora can take scramblers with virtually no worries. Yeah, that's exactly why. It's very difficult to screen out. Now, EDT's list is perfectly flexible and capable of doing a lot of screening, but at a cost. Whether or not that cost matters here is going to be of interest, because if you look at the secondaries that both players have taken, right now, EDT is sitting on a very happy data intercept, number of points, about 12. While we stand, we fight. That's sitting on a 15 currently, really. And engage all fronts, he's going for. He's got the 2 points off the fitted bloat drone doing its thing and making sure to stay as far away from the Sakillas Dreadnought as possible in an effort to try to keep the thing alive for a turn or two. So that'll be another 2 points there. And he's looking to score 10, 15, and 12 or so as far as secondaries go, while doing well on the primary. Meanwhile...
I'm very concerned that as far away as possible is not far away enough.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I would imagine so. Nothing's far enough away. Especially because this boy moves 9 inches. Like, you just move around the crater and then charge a 7-inch charge right there. Like, that wouldn't even be hard. Anyway, meanwhile, for the secondaries for Glorak here, he's got Deploy Scramblers, which is an all or nothing for 10 points. Data Intercept, which he'll get for 2 this turn, but probably not for 3. And then Cut Off the Head, which EDT has complete control over, and it will probably be less than 10 points if anything goes wrong. So, what Glorak has to do, I feel, is put on as much pressure as possible to force out Mortarion as early as he can, and then get the kill. Because if he doesn't stop EDTs, if he doesn't bait out EDT's Mortarion fast enough, then Cut Off the Head will be perfectly useless and will have not given him enough of an advantage. How does the 5 inches combine with the Infiltrator's 12-inch bubble? Chat is correct. It just beats it. Infiltrators are great for that reason. It's one of the reasons why I adore them over the Incursors for my lists. Since I tend to be terrible at screening with my Marines, one of the things that really helps, allows me to be a little bit lazier, and more importantly, allows me to stop worrying so much about it, are those 12 inches. The other thing I really like about the Infiltrators is their Helix Gauntlet, which allows you to really make good use of like a durable troops unit, honestly. Here, I think we're in the psychic phase. Let's go ahead and listen.
And we don't need warp time.
We're not warping.
I don't even think we're in range of diabolic strength, so we'll just hang out with that.
So Prescience has gone off.
Here, no, it's not really worth it. Okay. Demon Prince. Oh, sorry, the Demon Prince. Obviously, gonna throw my bomb over here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hope this goes well. I'd say so. He just died.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was interesting.
Was that the Plague Skull of Gothala doing its thing again?
So
That was, I'm going to have to remind myself, it's something that the Demon Prince has got.
Yeah, it's a relic that just does a bunch of mortal wounds. In a previous game, it killed 2 Deathwing Terminators.
So Miasma fails.
He's thinking CPing the Miasma of Pestilence. He goes for it.
It's up on 6, so we're good. And then don't need to increase any plague reaches. I'm content just hanging out. So I think Morty's done. Demon Prince will smite into this guy.
That Plague Skull has done work.
Great. Okay, so he did good.
So that was relic that the Demon Prince had, which is a once per battle, end of the movement phase, can select an enemy within 6 inches and roll 7 dice and get deal mortal on a 4 or 5 or D3 mortals on a 6. So
it ended up being 5 mortal wounds, and then there was 2 6s on top of that. That was gross.
Yep.
For an average of 9 mortal wounds based off of that one roll, that could kill a lot of
just
things.
Spending the P to make you -1 strength against the Aculus, which I get back.
All
Also,
right.
you are -1 to hit him because you can't see all of his base through the dents.
We're good though, so. 1 wound.
Okay, 4 up invuln. Does not get it this time.
Okay. This is D3 plus 3, isn't it? Yep. Go for it.
Okay.
It does 5 down to 4.
6 ups.
And then 6 of Feel No Pains down to 3. So the Achilles is still kicking on 6 wounds. What loadout does the Scions have? Just las guns. Hotshot las guns. That's 2 failed invulns this time.
Alright, and then we're into the prosecutors for 2 shots. 1, 3.
Oh wait, no, never mind. Sorry, that was not an entropy cannon. That was fine.
Because you can't get them.
Doesn't matter. Cool. 2 and -2.
Alright, he needs 5 to keep those prosecutors alive. Oh! They're still alive. That's actually a really big deal.
So the next one is gonna go.
Curie says the Meta Gauntlet is better. I would agree that the Helix Gauntlet is excellent. If you're going for a pure Vanguard force, it's funny for offense to go for the reroll ones anywhere, but you don't need it. The Helix Gauntlet makes them super durable, which I like a lot.
Saved.
the popular choice is neither. The points are better used elsewhere.
I tend to disagree myself because I tend to do horribly with saves. So having that extra free save is nice. But yeah, it's 10 points. If you got the spares, go for it. 2 saves, easy. So far this Achilles Dreadnought is led a Charmed Life.
4 shots.
4 shots at the mortar. 1 misses. These need 2s to wound here. That's 3 wounds. He needs at least 2 5s. No, the sisters are gone. Okay. So after that first volley, it seemed like those sisters might live, but some good rolling out of EDT guarantees that those sisters are dead. We expected that much.
He would have been very sad had that not happened.
Mm-hmm. Foulblade Spawn's out of range. No Plague Sprayer for you.
Should I send CP to do that? It's not great. I'll send CP to it anyway.
Okay, so he's increasing the number of the amount of range on the Plague Sprayer, I'm assuming. All those wounds.
Take 3.
Yep.
Clock is over to you, and turn is over to you.
All right, and that ends the turn. The Achilles Dreadnoughts have taken some damage, and that's a start. At the end of the turn, EDT also does end up scoring another 2 points for engage on all fronts, putting them up to 4 points for that, and a total of 27 points total. We're now on the bottom of turn 2 here. Really quick turns. These are players that obviously know their lists really well and that are playing as best as they can, but there you have it. At the start of the turn...
the Demon Prince might have tried the long charge into the Dreadnought. It certainly wouldn't have killed it, but... I thought...
He would have died in return, would be my guess. That Dread Spear in melee does 3 plus D3 damage at strength 14, so there's a good chance he just dies for that. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. At the start of Glorak's turn, he does end up getting his 5 points for the primary, not the full, sadly. So he's on 15 points right now. He's gonna need to get onto this objective and keep it as longer this time. He just needs to hold it for 1 full turn, and then at that point he can go ahead and just make sure that nothing else gets on it. But man, having those sisters die when they did was a bit of a sad face. That was not what you wanted.
Terminator Captain on that objective should do the job of holding it for a full turn.
Yeah, I think so too.
Coincidental fire.
Yeah, and then we got the rest of the Dreadnoughts coming up here. I think this Fetid Bloat Drone's dead.
And I think EDT expected no less, despite his careful positioning.
Yeah, no, this is a very different game out of EDT from what we've seen in the past. But is honestly still very much in his favor. The number one thing he's looking to do is delay putting out Morty as long as possible. and to really just win off the secondaries, and that's very much within his grasp right now. Glorak has to work really hard to make sure that he puts on enough offense now to start really taking things down another notch here. Achilles Dreadnought on the southern flank is moving towards this Death Guard Demon Prince, which puts him within range of the entire southern flank, which is going to probably kill it. Sadly, that's just how it works. 6 Death Shroud Terminators is more than enough for one Achilles. And
hold them there for a little while.
And it's not just the Achilles anymore. The Telemon Heavy Dreadnought's also moving towards that little section of the world. So that way next turn it can be an effective way to go ahead and put out some real damage. The Plague Burst Crawler is now within range of the 1-2 Telemon Heavy Dreadnoughts. The Achilles are on the northern flank are ready to take out this Fetid Bloat Drone, one of which can charge. And we got a Telemon and an Achilles down here doing their thing. Scions seemingly dropping in right on top of the objective? Nah, they're not going to go right on top of the objective. Yeah, they are. And this is what Imperial Guard do best. All he needs to do is get 5 models on there, and the objective is no longer his. And at the very least, putting 4 models on there guarantees that, you know, EDT doesn't have it anymore, which means data intercept only goes off for 2, and all that good stuff. Yeah, he can do it. He can do it. There we go, right there. Perfect. So this is what Imperial Guard are good at.
Sufficed because, of course, EDT did control this one in the start of his command phase.
Yes. So this backfield objective is his. The objective over here is his. But this objective on the bottom area is now no longer his. The Poxwalkers have now lost the objective because they didn't move a quarter of an inch down towards the southern flank. The Venatari have come down to shore up this southern flank and to potentially put in some real damage on the Demon Prince, on the Death Shroud Terminators, and on everything else. Now, this is a play that I should have seen coming. It makes sense. If you're going to go ahead and shore up a flank, use the Venatari to do it. These boys move 12, so they're super fast. They can definitely do a decent amount of melee, and their pistols work. And they're difficult to get rid of. They do have a 5-up invuln 4-up invuln baseline, 2-up saves. They're not easy to remove. And they can definitely put in some hurt here, especially with the Achilles Dreadnought helping out. So now suddenly this flank has not turned around, but it's now been shored up, and it should definitely stymie and slow down the Death Guard advance, where the Death Shrouds would have loved to have just continued marching towards the home field objective and taken it eventually.
Those Scions are a fantastic play from Glorak, and EDT must be really kicking himself to have left that open.
Yeah. The number of times I've had that happen to me against move guardsmen is incredible, and yeah, no, the Daring Descent is just, it's so hard to have to deal with. I mean, look at this backfield. He spent 2 full turns trying to screen this out effectively, and then he just goes down here and says, yeah, I can do it over here. And it's not a once-per-game stratagem. It's not even a once-per-game stratagem. They can just drop down there, and now they can deploy scramblers for the midfield. No downside required. And they've taken the objective from EDT. So now he has to divert resources over here to kill these Scions before he does anything else.
2 for 1, getting the objective and the second scrambler deployed in one sweep.
It's so good. So good. And there is one more unit of Scions in reserves, yes. It is the last thing that is in reserves currently dead. Right now we have a Calexis Assassin who ate a Plague Skull of Glotilla to the face. 5 Prosecutors that got mortared 2 turns straight. And that's it, really, off of any side. There's also a Chaos Spawn that got murked really hard. Just, the Chaos Spawn was, and then the Chaos Spawn was no longer. Alright, so we seemingly are moving into a section where we got lots of dice.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
So, we're looking for 3s rerunning 1s.
Yeah, they were my husband anyway, so don't even worry about it.
Okay, so 3s rerunning 1s.
You're rolling the 1s for reasons.
6 auto wound.
Probably Heap of Wisdom of the Ancients on the Dreadnought.
Yep, that would make sense.
So three wounds.
Looking for 3s.
So strength 6, is that right?
Yep. So that's 14. Yep.
So 14 wounds already. That's gonna kill 2.
Take 1 damage each, right? 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6. That's fine. You can have
Yeah, killing 2 Death Shroud Terminators is a big deal. That's a lot of offense
This
gone.
Achilles is going to shoot that Death Shroud as well.
That honestly means, I think,
The
that
Affix
unless if he gets really
threes,
lucky rolls,
ones,
based off of how this turn looks like it's going to go, this Achilles Dreadnought might actually survive another turn.
nothing. 2 spear shots on 3s, 1s.
Oh, the spear's a hit.
3s.
The spears
Oh,
failed to
come on.
wound. Okay, never mind. That Death Shroud Terminator lives.
It is what it is.
Tell him on now.
So the Death Shroud aura.
Who went first? It was
Can I
EDT,
get
the
past
Death
that by
Guard.
having him as the closest target?
Thank you,
or not?
Hawk.
No, you cannot.
Okay, so it's just straight, always his thing. Okay.
Cannot.
This Achilles into this blow drone.
Okay. Now we got
EDT is
the...
probably hoping that this blow drone dies to shooting rather than combat to avoid that Achilles getting even closer.
Stop making all your saves. 2s, and then 5s. 2 at AP3.
Okay, Blowdrone needs 5s to save here.
Yeah.
Yep, easy.
Yep. Hey.
Demon saves.
I think
Saving
that's
the
good. Stop
demons
that.
all the time.
The other one's going to put everything into it. So spear,
So even more shooting.
both hit. 1 wound.
You factored in the -1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Cool. Okay.
Fails this time.
What's the damage?
3.
So down to 2, because
And
reasons.
then the Adriatics. 1 AP3.
Goes through.
3.
Oh, another 3?
Yeah, they're 3 damage as well.
Everything does 3 damage in this army. Which is actually a good number to have.
Telemon.
It's not perfect, but it'll do the trick. Telemon now looking to see whether or not he's going to shoot.
Bloke drone. These.
Unusually consistent for Custodes, who are used to having D3 damage all over the place.
Yeah, there's a reason why the army is mostly Forge World with extras.
You have wrap.
Like, if you look at this army right now,
It looks like you're
there
really
are
on the stage.
1,
You would have to be a little bit.
2... There are 2 Custodes that are from the GW line, and all the other Custodes are Forge World. It's worth keeping that in mind.
I think you still have it.
Mind you, all the Custodes' friends are from GW. The Calexis Assassins, Scions, and the Sisters and the Tempester can all be bought at a GW store without having to go to Forge World, which makes them an Australian staple.
Yeah, I'd say you're just out.
Okay. So no flamer, just the spiculate and.
All right, so the Flamer was out of range. The Twin Plasma Projector would be nice to have here, but oh well.
3s
They all hit.
and 5s.
2 AP1.
They'll save, no problem.
The beam. 1s.
Both beam hits is a big deal.
3s. Reroll as your vehicle. Nope. 1 AP4.
And the demon save, the save of the demon.
For this drone. You're just giving me hope for no reason.
He should be long dead. Everything at that bloke drone then.
Telemon's pivoted.
So OP Forge World units are okay for SM, but totally fine for Custodes.
You're not.
It's a weird one, and that's actually a really cool conversation to have, is whether or not factions that are relying on Forge World to even be competitive are in a good spot or not.
Beam.
But that's a topic for maybe Sunday.
2 wounds.
But you can also say the same thing about Tyranids are in a similar situation as well, where their Forge World is what makes them competitive at the moment.
Nothing has happened, but okay.
Yeah, you still have you still have a 7-inch charger. You're chilling.
Yeah, he's gonna do it because he's got to.
That's faith right there.
Yeah. So charge phase.
Here it comes,
He's
big
gonna
charge. He
have
needs to
charge.
kill this fetid bloat drone. That's not gonna do
No,
it.
he's not. Obviously.
CP reroll. Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is.
That's
Yeah, this is just going to be one of those games. Okay, the Achilles into the Demon Prince.
That goes in.
Makes
He
it
needed
One
it.
he needed before.
All right, so the Demon Prince might not die here. Probably shouldn't, but the amount of damage that it'll do back is quite low. Would be my guess.
Here, I think.
But if only those rolls were reversed. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. So the Blood Drone being alive right now means that it can go ahead and wreak havoc, potentially go in on the Shield Captain or start tagging things. Or at the very least be a guaranteed 2 points for engaging all fronts. Like, worst case scenario, that's something.
With us.
Given everything it's facing, my guess is he's going to take the 2 free points.
That's white phase.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the Achilles going into the Death Guard Demon Prince.
8?
8, yeah.
I'll make you -1.
Okay, sounds good.
But then the Foul Blight Spawn said no. Forgot about that. Foul Blight Spawn says you no longer count as charging, which means it's the Death Guard Demon Prince's turn first. This could go badly.
You get +1 to wound. What's that?
It'd put you back to 3s.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The question is, can I put it on a demon prince or not?
Oh.
I think it's core only. Actually.
Yeah, it might be. Because I actually have access to veterans of the long war, but hold on, where is the strat?
Busy debating whether or not the strat works. And my bad, folks. Actually, Glorak is sitting on 17 points at the moment because his data intercept for 2 did go off.
So yeah, I'll attack you.
Not great.
Okay, the red one, wait a second, because the red one might be strength 7. So you're probably fine on that.
Is that the Talon?
Oh, it's strength, yeah, strength 7, so you're good. Don't worry about that one.
Alright, one save to make here.
Okay, so you
That's 3.
take damage after reduction.
And it takes the 2. So the Contemptor Achilles is now down to 4.
His 5 attacks.
Now he's going to attack back with his spear, which does 3 plus d3 damage.
So that, go ahead and
Okay.
Yeah.
Wounding on 2s.
2 wound.
All of them wound, though.
3.
5 up invuln saves now for this Death Guard Demon Prince. Each one he fails is 3 plus... Well, 2 plus... Wow!
Oh, can't. Yeah.
What?
Okay, it's gonna be it's just one of those games. Yeah.
Well, okay then. That should be a dead Demon Prince, and instead it's alive. EDT is charmed. EDT is charmed. I don't know what else to say. It's atrocious. It's the worst. It's about the craziest thing I've seen EDT get lucky on. That doesn't matter that much. A bit. The Achilles Dreadnought needed to do a little bit of work here, and now that the Demon Prince can live again for a full turn, there's probably at least 1 dead Dreadnought this turn. There might even be 2, and there's only so many defensive strats that the Custodes can do in a turn in order to keep their army alive. Looking at the score really quickly right now, EDT is currently earning 5 points for the primary, has earned another 2 points for data intercept, and is sitting on a 34 points game right now, which is pretty fine for top of turn 3. The question I have is, what is Glorak going to do about it? Because although this doesn't look like it's stellar, Glorak is very much hanging on by a thread still. It is not going to be an easy game for him. And EDT has split up the forces of the Custodes enough now that there's actually a really good chance that Morty can actually come out and start doing stuff this turn while being not killable in return. Like, if Morty can actually come out and start doing his offense and then not die for it, huge bonus. And this is the turn where Cut Off the Head stops being worth more than 10 points too. So if you're going to go ahead and send him out, this might be the turn. We'll have to see, though. This Fetid Bloat Drone... Sorry, go ahead, Chance.
Whether I would or not in EDT's position, it's a toughie.
It is a tough one. And I think that, honestly, if he holds him back one more turn, it's maybe going to be enough. Because right now, he's got a bit of a split going on. He can probably kill off another, like, 2 Dreadnoughts this turn without needing Morty. And then next turn, he can send out Morty to go ahead and ruin the day of one of those Dreadnoughts, or at least one character or something.
Yeah, I think if he waits until next turn, I think Morty survives the battle. And that's another 5 points.
Yeah, which is big. It's another 5 points and denies cut off the head entirely. We got a big circle around here. I'm wondering if he's measuring psychic for Morty here to make sure that he can stay out of the minuses. That would make sense. Yeah, and he can move up into that if he wants to. He's looking to try to get warp time off and go into these Venatari, removing them from the equation and completely collapsing the southern flank.
Lorak was very bullish about how well Dreadnoughts could tank Morty. And so ADT's sitting here thinking, yeah, not if I don't go into your Dreadnoughts.
The thing is, the Dreadnoughts that he could take on are... Like, he could take on a Dreadnought and kill it. But it's not a guarantee. Even with 3 plus D3 damage, that ends up being 2 plus D3 damage for everyone that gets through. And these Dreadnoughts do have a 4-up invuln. And the ability to reduce your strength and a couple of other things. It's not a lot, but it's something.
I think someone mentioned that Morty into a Telemon averages 4 or 5 wounds.
It's not a lot.
it's not a lot. That's not something you want to be doing with your quarter of your army model. Wiping a squad of Venatari would be much better.
So for Goose here, you can see that Lockjaw has made this map such that there's a lot of very tall ruins, and that's a discussion that we can have another time. I've got my own personal thoughts about it, but what this means is that you can easily hide Morty behind one of these. There's no question about that. It's what's allowed Morty to be as effective as he is in this league, honestly. And out he comes. He's going in. Mathematically, cut off the head cannot be worth more than 10 points now. So really, he's already lost the secondary game. Glorak's already lost the secondary game to a certain degree now. So the trick will be, hey, can we turn this loss into a potential win off the primary based off of our cheekiness with these Scions or whatever. Tallyman hanging out in the back. We got the Sorcerer coming out to guarantee warp time. Now, he does have to be within 3 with his Sorcerer, because warp time is a very close range spell. Aquina says, mathematically, both the Bloat Drone and the Demon Prince should have died from the attacks. Absolutely. But that's the thing with elite armies. Sometimes you swing high, and sometimes you swing low. And there's not enough dice to really offset those low roll moments like what happened this turn. The Demon Prince should have easily died. There should have been at least 3 wounds that went through for 3 plus D3 damage each and killed him. The Bloat Drone should have easily died and should have been charged by the other Dreadnought to just guarantee the kill. But yeah, no, stuff like that happens. Glorak kind of got on the wrong end of the dice there. We'll have to see whether or not the dice favor him this turn.
What do you think EDT's plan will be for dealing with the Scions that have already arrived? Do you think he's going to have to send mortars into them?
He could send mortars there. I would imagine that sending the mortars onto the data intercept infantry over wherever they are would be helpful. It might be the captain this turn who could be doing that, which would be interesting. But if there is a squishier infantry like the Scions or the Prosecutors that are doing that, mortaring that would be more effective, and you could get the Poxwalkers to just honestly charge and do the job from there. It does put them within shooting range, though.
Yeah, so he's reliant on his yellow Poxwalkers for screening out the next Scions. So he's not going to be too desperate to move those any further. But it looks like he's sending Death Shroud to do the job.
Hajaz says, pretty sure the lack of miniatures at the moment is COVID-based and wasn't planned by GW. Correct. That said, the lack of models on this table is largely because of the elite army on the blue corner. In all seriousness, though, yeah, if you're wondering where your models are and everything, the best you can do right now is be patient. COVID is not a fun time for anybody. It is what it is. I'm pretty sure that Brian from Tabletop Titans has an anecdote where it's like, yeah, I wanted a thing like, and I ordered it months ago, and it's still going to take months to get here, despite the fact that it's just like a regular plastic kit. So, yeah, it happens.
With the survival of that Bloat Drone and the imminent death of the Venatari, Glorak's going to need a plan C for Scramblers.
Yeah. It's
All my bullish statements about how easy it would be for him to score it are being proven wrong by this very skilled play from EDT.
skill play and a little bit of luck go a long way. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. The main thing now is, can he position the Scions in such a way as to keep them safe for a turn, so that way they can walk into the deployment zone over here and then deploy scramblers? Because if Morty's going south and there's just a bunch of cultists hanging out back here doing their screening as best as possible, then yeah, he's gonna have to plan a turn ahead on this one. But he really does just have this Hail Mary left.
The problem is that the existence of 2 Plague Burst Crawlers means there is nowhere safe for 5 T3 models.
Yeah, not even light cover with dents attached to it either. No, this is tough for Glorak right now. That last turn could have gone a lot better. In particular, with that fetid bloat drone being right where it is, it's a huge nuisance. Mind you, he still has to get off warp time, pretty much a guarantee. But then after that, Morty does have to, guarantee kill all the Venatari, and like it's definitely a doable thing. They're only toughness 5. They got a 4 up in Vuln. But 3 wounds a pop. They can reduce the strength. No, they can like turn off rerolls and stuff for Morty. And even at toughness 4, like it's not the worst. They might survive.
Yeah, he's not going to go in and wipe the squad, but what are they going to do once he's gone into them?
Yeah, pretty much. Like there's nothing else really to go into except for maybe the. No, that's it, really. And the thing is, it's a really good kill here, because if you can get the Venatari Custodians dead, then the entire southern flank is collapsed. If those Custodians somehow survive a turn, then they can put out another batch of shooting that removes another huge amount of Death Shroud Terminators, and can do a lot of work. There's a Telemon within support range as well. So there's definitely... like, Glorak could have taken the southern flank, and still probably might, if Mortarion doesn't do the job he needs to do right now.
Well, there goes warp time.
Okay.
Unsurprisingly. That interaction exists makes me mad. But yeah, I've said that so many times now.
He's going to fail, so I'm going to CP. Okay, still fails. Good talk. That's fine. Morty is going to miasma himself.
Okay, miasma from Morty goes off on a 7.
I'm going to attempt to deny that.
Attempt to deny from the strat.
Sure thing.
On a 4 up,
Is it
it's
within 18 plus
denied.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, sadly,
Okay.
it goes off.
So he is -1 to hit. Okay. Morty's done, so the Demon Prince will smite, which will go off on a... Nope, it's -1, right? Still goes off?
Yep.
Okay.
-1.
So it goes off.
Goes off for D3 mortal wounds.
That would do
3 mortal wounds. He's got a 6 up, feel no pain against this. Because Custodes. Oh!
Oh!
There we go. That's a little bit of luck, but it's still only on 3 wounds. Now, the Foul Blade Spawn just removes charging. Unless if something else charges this Achilles Dreadnought, he will get the chance to fight the Demon Prince and try to kill him one more time.
got 5 shots now.
Oh, wait.
Does
He
he
has a
not
flamer.
have the relic for the fight last? And he has the fight last as well, doesn't he? The Foul Blight Spawn?
Um,
Okay, whatever.
Maybe. Yeah, it seems like
I
it.
actually would like to cast one more once if you don't mind.
Yeah, he just has to get within 3 inches, and he can do a Judicia style fight last on the Achilles.
Fails.
Big oof.
So that
Big
makes
oof.
TP to fuck past it.
Yep.
Yeah, everything's going EDT's way right now. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Shooting phase. Totally forgot to use my tanks. Awesome. Okay, so focus on everything else. Okay, that's fine. So we'll just do. I'll start with the first one with prescience. We're gonna do.
That's
Shooting phase now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I can draw to this dreadnought. So
Oh no!
No, not even close. There's no line of sight from this Playburst Crawler to the Achilles Dreadnought over here.
He forgot to move his tanks.
So we'll go ahead.
Whoopsie!
And,
I mean, he's only got 41 minutes on the clock or something. It's worth mentioning...
There's ET demonstrating the other side of fair play, not even asking to go, oh, can I move those tanks after all? Because that would be quite a cheeky answer.
Yeah, it's a full phase later.
Go for it.
Misses, but he rerolls, and he still misses. Okay. Alright.
Morty's Lantern, it goes wide.
First one, entropy's here. We'll do the mortars on 3 damage here. Spend a CP.
So you spent the CP to get 3 damage mortars on the Venatari. Interesting. Now if contagions existed, it would matter here, but it does not. So toughness 5 means that he's still wounding on 3s.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So entropies on 2s because I'm +1 hit. 1 save.
Easy save.
Order for 2 shots.
Not
on
enough.
2s. On 3s, reroll 1s.
Plague says, okay.
Saves a -2.
So 4s.
That's fine.
Fine. Awesome. Plague Burst have not done much this game. 2s. Nothing. Okay, cool.
Yep, so that's 1 Plague Burst down. It did 0 damage.
Entropies into this guy here. We'll shoot the
That was
mortars.
1 with +1 to hit.
Damage into
Yeah.
the Venatari.
Okay, we're doing what seems to be a similar.
Here again.
Yeah.
Interesting. To the
This
Venatari is
this one is
risks making his charge harder.
Is he going through the stats to hit this guy?
No, he's in Vexilla range.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about the Vexilla.
Entropies, 1 hit. 1 hit.
4 up invuln. No.
Go through.
Take
Full
6.
5. 4? Yeah, the full 5. That's rough. That's a big entropy cannon shot right there. And as far as command points go, EDT's got 2 left, and we got 3 now for we got 3 right now for Glorak. He has gotten back his CP back from last round, but he's still looking for one for this round.
And on 3, reroll 1s. Saves.
EDT is entirely gambling on this Death Shroud making the charge into
I'll
sides.
use my Grand Strategist reroll. No, I'll take the 2 damage.
Okay.
Takes
sounds
2
good.
damage. 1 Venatari's down to 1 wound.
No flick shooting there. These guys probably don't flick shooting, so we'll go to Blight Spawn into those guys.
Okay, Blightspawn, D6 flamer shots. It's the
5
full
shots.
5. He's rolled really well with his D6 weaponry in terms of the amount of shots.
5 saves.
Oof, and each one of these is 2 damage. Oh, lots of good saves, though.
Now I'll use the Grand Strategist reroll.
Oh, it goes
It's
off.
fine.
Okay. That was...
The Venatari are still alive somehow.
So,
Glorak there saying 2 can play this unexpected survival game.
Gotta love the unexpected survival game. It's almost as fun as Duck Duck Goose.
Yep.
So that's gonna be a 5-inch charge here from Morty. Nice and easy. Yep, he gets to roll the
You
10.
roll it up. Oh, right round the back.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know why.
Well, because it means that anyone trying to go into him is going the wrong way, and if no one does, then he's easily threatening the home objective.
Yeah, I have to wonder if the prosecutors are doing data intercept. I don't think that tagging them is going to actually stop the data intercept from going off. But
then he can kill them.
yeah. Okay, so the Death Shrouds have charged in an attempt to try to kill this Achilles Dreadnought.
A Death Shroud singular after the handy shooting last turn.
Actually, no, Death Shroud plural. The 3 teal boys are going in.
The
Death Shroud
is-
singular went into the Scions. Okay, so now the Achilles is
I'm
fighting,
gonna creep
or
into the
last.
prosecutors.
Oh, my today, right?
Yeah.
That's good. And you're you
It's you.
Okay,
It affects you, not me.
sure. Sounds good. So 8 attacks on 3s. Roll. And on 2s. Okay, go.
So many attacks.
Okay.
4 die. He has to keep the Venatari close to him, alive if he can, just to make sure that he doesn't pile in towards the prosecutors. But nope, he's going to go in towards the prosecutors instead.
Okay.
So now Morty's out in the open, but he's going to be hard to get to. There's only one Telemon Heavy Dreadnought that can go ahead and charge him in close combat, and the shooting won't be enough.
Have to be on an objective marker.
You can't fight.
Custode interrupt. I don't have to be eligible. I can just do it if I'm on an objective
Oh,
marker.
Pants.
After you fight.
You're
with
up.
it.
I think.
It
He can
it
use the
doesn't
Custodes
select
to
the
interrupt on the
unit to
Achilles,
fight.
Curie says. Ooh.
Sure, I'm just gonna ask the bill quick.
Yeah, sure. We can
Judge time.
get someone in.
Let's see.
Do I have a way of getting in to talk to them?
Usually C is push to talk in Tabletop Simulator. Try that out.
I'll have to turn up my end.
All right, folks, get ready to hear double in a second.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
So, is correct.
Never mind, no,
Indomitable Guardians does not require eligibility. It just requires you to choose a unit that is within engagement range and within 3 of an objective marker.
How did he get the beast? Okay, whatever. It doesn't make any sense, but it sounds good. Carry on.
So he's going to put his
no.
attacks into the Death Shrouds.
All right, so he's going to try to rip apart the Death Shrouds with his 5 attacks here, hitting on 2s. 1 missed anyway, but that's fine. Wounding on 2s. These should all wound. 1 does not, sadly.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh. I'll do those 3 wound rolls again. There you go.
Okay, it's damage.
3 plus D3, so that's
3
2
plus 3.
super dead.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't mean that the Achilles Dreadnought is out of the hills here yet. What's the dispute? So, Goose. What happened there was that the Foul Blightspawn told the Achilles Dreadnought, you can't fight until you're the last one to fight this turn. End of story. And there is a Custodes stratagem that allows him to interrupt regardless, that does not require eligibility, and so rules as written, he can still use it despite what the Foul Blightspawn said. Which is fine. It didn't end up doing much more than 1 Death Shroud Terminator dying anyway.
5s. 2.
Oh, wow. The Death Shroud Terminator did not kill them. Mind you, he does take the objective back, but the silence somehow lived.
I fully expect that if and when that stratagem reappears in Custodes 9th edition Codex, it probably will require eligibility.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. It's likely to get that wording for sure.
I'll use my strength 5 profile.
But yeah, just remember, if you're playing your games and you're playing an Alpha League, which, by the way, all of you are welcome to join the next season. It's free to play, and the pods are a good, comfortable, usually a really casual time as well. Or competitive, depending on how well you start doing. But, yeah, if you're playing in a situation like this, don't be afraid to call a judge if you need it. It does help to make sure that the game goes smoothly and quickly. Because instead of bickering and arguing for a while, you can just be like, hey, look, we can do this. There are a variety of other ways to, settle disputes. Anyway, the Death Guard Demon Prince has killed the Achilles Dreadnought, which means that this entire southern flank has collapsed. And EDT is all but pretty much guaranteed a pretty strong win here, though there are avenues to change that around.
Holding on 5s.
Scions are trying to punch. They punch okay. They don't punch okay enough. The Death Shroud Terminator takes no damage.
They need a leadership.
Leadership 7, lost 2.
They could fail on a 6. No.
Fine.
Auto pass. In fact, insane bravery from these Scions, these heroes of the Imperium, staring down and one of Nurgle's chosen champions and his scythe reaping face. Gross.
Okay. Oh, this is not going well.
Yeah, it's putting it really nicely for yourself there, Glorak. Let's move along and do a quick turn summary. By the end of the turn here, we're looking at a slowly mounting, like a slow primary here, but things are obviously doing really well for EDT here. Bottom of turn 3, he's sitting on a variety of different objectives. He's pretty much stopped deploy scramblers for this game. It'll be very difficult to get that back. Engage all fronts went off for another 2 points. And data intercept is likely to start going off for 3 points yet again. Speaking of points that are worth data intercept points, we've got 5 points now for data intercept off of Glorak here, and 10 points for the primary, putting him up to a total of 27, if my math isn't horribly wrong. Let's see, 10, 27, was it? Nope, it should be 30 points at this point. So I'll go ahead and just make that change myself. 37 to 30 at the bottom of turn 3 here. But the unspoken bit here is that while we stand, we fight is still a thing for full 15 points here right now for EDT. This puts him at 52 points right now, effectively, which is a significant lead that needs to be dealt with. Cut off the head is now getting progressively and progressively worse. It is worth 6 points this turn, 3 points next turn, and 1 point on turn 5, as if he can kill Morty at all. It's a big swing. It's still worth going for if he can, but yeah, at this point, Morty has done his job. For sure.
Also, just to continue Glorak's run of bad luck, while you were zoomed in on the secondaries, the Venatari failed its morale check.
Oh. You know, if they were Necrons, they wouldn't have failed it. Soulless robot automatons. That's the way you do it. Talmon Heavy Dreadnought moving down this way. Seeing if he can't go ahead and put on some pressure on a variety of different players. The Achilles Dreadnought up here that's managed to survive a lot of shooting is going to go up and kill this Fetid Bloat Drone and try to secure this northern flank as much as possible. If he can wrap around and start dealing with the cultists and the Tallyman and tag some Plague Burst Crawlers, that might do a big enough job, actually. If these Plague Burst Crawlers don't start running away, the Achilles Dreadnought will actually catch up with them. The Talmon up here is we're going to have to see what he does. The Vixilla Magnifica is currently sitting in the middle of nowhere. The captain's currently pinned to this top left objective because nothing else can really take it and hold it for him. Scions moving down on the south end, doing something, because you can't screen against Mortarion. It's not possible. He's got 12 inches and fly. So he'll just fly wherever he wants. The Tempesta Prime moving out. We'll have to see what these Scions end up doing. If they weren't for the Strength 6, they'd actually have a pretty good weapon profile for dealing with Mortarion, but I digress. The Prosecutor's currently sitting where they are. Yeah, right now the southern flank is largely collapsed. There's not a whole lot that he can do about it. There's just not enough models left in the Custodes army. They do have some Scions that they can go ahead and plop down, but these guys they do have to come down this turn. But they would have loved to deploy Scramblers as their main thing. If the Green Scions had the ability to do it, that'd be great, but they don't, and they're too far away. They will never make it past this wall of Poxwalkers. So now the trick is, where do they go otherwise? And it seems like that they are going to go in the middle. Okay. Fair enough.
That's interesting. Surely they're not going to go more than a movement from the deployment side.
They're going to try to stop that, but he's also trying to save on CP right now. He's only got 2 left. The only real place he can put them is down here over in this corner in an attempt to try to keep them alive if he can. And then next turn move into the deployment zone. If he can kill the Fetid Bloat Drone, that should be doable. But yeah, no, these Scions are on borrowed time. If they can, at this point, they are the Hail Mary. If they can manage to get into this objective next turn, then they're good. On the flip side, he could just use the CP, give them the Daring Descent, and get them to sort of toe in. But he needs to be wholly within to do deploy Scramblers, so not this turn, baby. Sad. And he can't use orders to move them or anything. They're not only way too far, but I think that they're immune to it. Custodes gonna need to pull out the power hankies for the Nurgle boys. Yeah, no, like the poweriest of hankies, and that's the end of the movement phase. That's really all he could do, sadly. Because of how few units he's got, a lot of them are already pinned to objectives to try to hold on to them right now.
Yeah, with the so that can I still issue orders?
And the odds of failing that morale check was a 1 in 6, Aquinas.
The Tempesta Prime.
So a 16.5% chance repeating?
No,
Venator are
they're not.
actually only
So it'd
leadership
be the
8.
prosecutors
So
doing the spread
What?
rather than him doing-
1 in 3 to fail on that.
Oh my god, why are they leadership 8? Who
Who
decided the rules for you? Why are you
give-
leadership 8?
Uh,
Oh my god. Anyway,
yeah, he's gonna give first rank, second rank to these scions.
alright, the Scions are going to go ahead and try to Gatling gun this Mortarion down. They might, maybe,
Scions are
possibly
actually
do
gonna try
1
and-
wound
so,
if
crack
they're
grenade
very lucky.
And then 8 shots with Vengeance for Cadia. So crack grenade hits on 4s. Rerolling. Oh. Or did you take the no rerolls thing? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have no.
Oh, okay. So I won't Vengeance for Cadia. Sorry, no, that's
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're good.
just 8 shots here then. Yeah. Hitting on 4s, no rerolls, 6s explode.
And 6s to
Winning on
wound?
sixes.
Absolutely
No.
not.
This Telemon, everything into Mortarion. It's going to burst with the Spiculus.
Maybe they spend time in the
Burst
Imperial
is
Guard
going
before
down.
they get painted gold.
So 3s. Oh my god.
Oof.
2 AP2.
So 4 ups here. Pass them both.
5 shots with the Spiculus.
Yeah, no, this is turning out to be Mortarion do what Mortarion do.
Nothing.
And it's
2d3
awful.
hits with his Flamer. 4. Nothing. Yeah, this is so
That's pretty abysmal.
this Aculus, everything at Morty. Entry Ethics.
Oh,
Nothing.
this hurts.
Spear.
Spear
Nothing.
does not
Well,
wound.
this game is like over. It's been over for a while. This Telemon, everything into Morty.
Yep.
Spiculus.
Doing some DACA at least. But Morty hasn't taken a scratch.
2 AP1.
Because they're strength 5, right?
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, Goose Goose, I'd imagine that that's what it is. But we'll have to talk to Glorak after the game and see if that ends up being the case.
First. 3, rerolling 1s. 5s. 2 AP2. One damage.
That's 1 damage.
Yeah, on burst, it's just 1 damage.
Oh, and he gets the 5 of Feel No Pain, no less. Mortarion took... No? 1?
Yeah.
1.
Okay.
2 Telemons and Achilles Dreadnought
This
later did
Aculus-
1. Mortarion is toxic, dude.
Oh, kind of
Get it?
don't
It's a good
want
joke. I
to
promise.
kill the bloat drone with shooting because I want to get a charge just to get some extra movement out of it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm just going to charge with
Charge phase.
Cyclist into the bloat drone.
Kill us into the blow drone. This should have happened last turn. It's happening this turn. This Achilles has not rolled higher than a 4 for his charges, by the way.
And I'm going to charge. No, I can't charge.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll attempt
That
a
pun
long
did at
bob.
least 2 mortal wounds to my soul. Yes! It's more mortal wounds than both of my armies have ever done.
Telemon into Morty.
Wait, that's not true. I also play Necrons. I lied. Alright, Telemon's moving into Mortarion. Tying him up at
Even
least.
Tau do mortal wounds these days.
Sorry?
Even Tau do mortal wounds these days.
Both phase.
So the
Real
Aculus.
weapons.
sniper drones,
Yeah.
I think are the...
No! Broadsides with
Five
real
attacks
weapons.
on
Yes, that's true. I have done 1 mortal wound before with those
Twos.
broadsides.
2s.
Oh my god, stop rolling 1s! Stop rolling 4s!
E3 plus 3.
Yeah, it literally almost.
So the bloat drone almost survived the Achilles charging him again.
I'd have had to apologise to the stream because I'd have been swearing like I'm.
Can't blame you. Oh my goodness. Alright, so the Achilles Dreadnought has moved up
On the explosion.
and is effectively
Okay,
securing the
so
flank.
that's it. Take it.
Cool.
And then the Telemon,
Oh,
5
it's-
attacks.
Alright, so now these attacks are the mama attacks.
Investors died.
Okay.
Oh.
And then Telemon.
Oh, good. So the
Please.
Telemon has to do business here. Ha! Okay, it's still doable. It's not doable.
3 at 83. Strength 16.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Ooh.
It's definitely not doable.
After reduction.
More wounds.
Yeah, as soon as the game
Oh, because that's the
started, I knew that I picked
Cestus.
the wrong
Oh, it only
secondaries,
does flat 4. I thought I did 3
I
plus
should've just gone
3.
engage.
Oh no.
And played it that way, but
Yep, now Morty gets the attack back.
We'll talk about it in the wrap up, but like I just set up for a really cagey game in which we would tie on data intercept, tie on like your scramblers would equal my engage if I didn't manage to die to you, and then my while we stand would be a huge swing into cutoff head.
yeah, I almost took banners to be honest.
Yeah. Alright, Morty on 2s, and then on 2s, roll 1s for himself.
I dislike this model.
Okay.
That's 8 wounds. That's a dead Telemon
Why are
Dreadnought,
you doing 8
probably.
attacks? You only get 7 attacks.
The dialogue strength still.
Oh, okay.
He got Diabolic
They're
Strength.
D3 plus 3 each, aren't they?
Oh! Why are these synergies allowed? Oh, I'll save though.
6.
Oh no, wait, no, that's just
No,
that's
that-
damage.
that was wrong.
No, that's a lot of pain actually. Now the Telemon's not dead, but that was an incredible damage roll as well.
Yeah, I already
Whether-
knew
whether
that
it's-
stuff right at the beginning of this game.
Whether it's dead depends on the field
Yeah,
mode phase.
secondaries.
It
And
mathematically should not be dead, but it is now down to 3 wounds,
Cool. So
which means it's bracketed heavily.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Look, I
This should be
I
engaged.
I
This
do
should
not
be
like this, but I think we can start to see where this game is headed.
So
Um,
I got baited into the secondaries thinking you were throwing.
Oh, geez, they're already talking it out. I want to, I want to tell them to stop doing that so that way they can talk about this with us. But you know, like the people are gonna talk, and that's fine. Ooh, messed that one up again.
EDT did start saying, well, we'll talk about this on stream. but-
Yeah, he did. So starting off this turn, EDT's looking at a 10-point primary. Nice and easy. Good and safe. He still has the 15 for while we stand. We fight. Data intercept has gone off again for 3. Which is going to put him at a happy 50 points. Like a very happy 50 points, all things considered. And that's good. That's good that Good eats top of turn 4. Especially when he's actually at 65 points. And he has another full turn of primary left to go. He's also still looking to score some more points for engage on all fronts, which is great. So yeah, this'll probably cement the turn really as far as this goes, and you know, he's looking to see what he can do. Mortarion might as well stay in combat with the Telemon Heavy Dreadnought. Potentially get off some a smite and then you know, lantern it in the face and then get off a nice charge onto the Scions, wipe them out, and continue going. But now it's just the Death Guard are marching forward, and there's not much you can do to stop it. The Death Guard Demon Prince is moving out, doing his thing. You got the the Foul Blight Spawn. You're gonna have the champions kind of moving out. This champion's just gonna wipe out the rest of the Scions if the Poxwalkers don't go out and help. And at this point, they could almost risk it. I think they could probably risk just putting the Poxwalkers in there to guarantee their death. Not that those Scions matter, really, at all. If anything, the Poxwalkers could wrap and trap the Scions to just keep them safe from shooting for a turn and use them as bait. Death Shroud's moving forward for whatever it's worth. The Poxwalkers here are probably just going to continue to sit on it. And this objective here, we've got... Hold on, where's the infantry unit that's doing... There we go. The Tallyman's touching the objective here, and that's probably what's doing data intercept every single turn. The Svetted Blow Drone could honestly just stay here. It doesn't matter anymore.
No, what it wants to do is it wants to move block that Dreadnought. So
100%.
right in the Plague Burst Crawler.
Yeah. Now, mind you, he's going to have to be careful with his cultists and his sorcerer, because currently they are placed right up against the wall and are definitely meleeable. It would be a worthwhile ability for the Achilles Dreadnought to charge, kill the sorcerer, and then get himself onto the objective with the Plagueburst Crawler. And, you know, if it somehow survives another turn of shooting, it could start to cause some problems. But, yeah, absolutely that Fetid Blowdrone's looking to move block the Achilles Dreadnought, and probably won't charge it. Will stay outside of 3 inches to avoid heroic intervention as well, would be my guess. But yeah, again, EDT kind of just showing off why Morty plus Warp Time is a really good 1-2 punch. And he's had other things happen, but really the story's just been Mortarion hanging back, making Cut Off the Head nearly impossible to do anything with. Meaning that secondaries-wise, EDT's already winning. And then once Cut Off the Head is worth less than 10 points, Mortarion can come out and play all day long without really losing much at all. And that's kind of what we expected would happen, and it has happened as a result. Mind you, Gloric is still looking to try to cut off his head. It is worth... Hold on. How many points is it worth this turn? 8 points. It's effectively an 8-point swing if he gets him this turn. Mind you, Morty's still sitting at 15 wounds, so it's not likely to happen.
And that other one's going down, so...
Yeah, like, it's possible. There's heroics that could happen. If the Achilles Dreadnought survives and shoots him, and both shots go through, and the Telemon Heavy Dreadnought shoots from across the map, and all the shots go through, and then the Achilles Dreadnought charges him and kills him somehow, it's possible. Not likely, though. But it's a game of dice. It could happen. Meanwhile, really, EDT's just looking to do what he can to start getting engaged on all fronts again. He seems to be sacrificing the cultists to do that job, or potentially also just kill the Scions. They got autoguns. They could absolutely shoot the Scions, but they advanced already, so that's not happening.
Exactly. There were exactly two things that EDT needed to achieve with this turn. Kill the Scions and make sure that Achilles at the top isn't a threat.
Yeah, and there are a couple things that can help with both of those cases. Plagueburst Crawlers just touching the ruin, and then the other Plagueburst Crawler just moving into range. A couple of entropy cannons to the face ought to guarantee it, but just in case this is a Fetid Blowdrone stopping him from getting to the Tallyman. The Scions, those are some sluggers and some mortars away from dying. And then once that's solidified as an easy win there, then as an easy kill, then there's no chance for deploy scramblers anymore. Diamond Boots says, with the way the dice are going, yeesh. Yeah, there's that, but there's definitely some interesting choices here out of Glorak, and just from his secondaries picking. If he did mention a little bit earlier that instead of Cut Off the Head, he probably should have gone for something like Raise the Banners, and yeah, I could have seen that. That would have been worth at least a few points already. Not the full 15, but it would have been worth something. But yeah, Cut Off the Head is universally regarded as the second worst secondary in the game. The only one that's behind it at all is the Space Marine Codex Warfare secondary, which is just awful. With deploy scramblers, can you still shoot and fight after making the action? No. Actions require you to stand still for the duration of the action. No shooting or movement outside of pylons and consolidates. You can still do pylons and consolidates, I think. And you can still fight.
So you can't charge, but if someone charges you, then hitting them back does not cost you your action.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, Space Marines have a strat to let them shoot without failing in action. And
Necrons also have a command protocol that allows them to do that I've used to good effect once or twice.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Mm-hmm. And they actually have a second one. If you're Nihilak, you can just spend a CP and voila, problem solved. I never get the appeal of that secondary then. It's such a waste of a unit. So the thing with deploy scramblers is that if you have a cheap enough unit that can, practically guarantee it, it is an easy 10 points. And 10 points is slightly above average for most secondaries, and it's uninteractive, which means that really you don't require your opponent has to play so far around it that it's difficult to deny under a lot of situations. You can build your list around it and usually get the 10 points. But it is an all or nothing. And if your opponent has enough units to stop you and the deployment zones are tough, like this one, then yeah, it's definitely a toughie. The Glorak's list does have a good reason to go and pick it, especially with the Scions he's got. The Daring Descent stratagem makes it that way. It's a very strong and powerful way to get to play Scramblers. Thank you. And it's cheap. Scions are not expensive as far as units go. The trick here, though, is that there's 2 Plague Burst Crawlers and a diagonal deployment, which means that screening is actually not all that difficult. Even screening out a 5-inch drop was doable this game with the 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, a couple of units of chaff, and a Fetid Blow Drone that survived.
Exactly. It still should not have happened. Glorak should have scored those points. That blow drone should have died.
And yet, here we stand. So Warp Time has gone off, and they're going to try to steal this objective.
While we stand, we screen.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have 3 OBSECs, 3 OBSEC models on this objective. OBSEC cancels out, because all the Custodes that are foot troops are OBSEC. So now there's 3 models to 2. EDT has stolen the objective. With what amounts to a garbage Imperial Guardsman.
I love it. That's so cheeky. Nice little bit of payback for those times earlier.
I think my favorite part about that is that effectively Warp Time is a far more functional move in this case.
Yes.
It's pretty great. At the same time, it makes me mad, but yeah, it's pretty good. I can't be mad.
Shows up on a 5.
You get +1.
Awesome. Yes.
Okay.
2.
2 mortal wounds. All right, the Achilles Dreadnought takes 1. This Achilles is not long for this world, but it's not dead yet.
It seems to be good for everyone. My Plague Burst Crawlers have been like not.
Which turn is it, and who went first? EDT went first, and it's the top of turn 4.
Morty will
It should say so on the stream, actually,
It does.
in its own weird way.
A way that requires some explanation for those who haven't seen it before.
Sorry. I'll make a second Steam account so I can get a second camera to do all this with, but you know, my computer is, and it's $20 to get a second one just to do the camera work that way. Anyway, I'll work on it.
I'm sure Mouse can afford it.
Just wondering.
Especially if everyone supports us on the Patreon.
Hey, there we go. Plug a Rooney right there.
Alright, shooting phase. Morty will shoot fist into combat. He gets to reroll, and he double ones again.
Nice, double one.
Okay. So Meritarian's going to have to kill the Helamon Heavy Dreadnought in close combat, which will be done relatively easily because the Foul Blade spawns within range to tell him to fight last.
No, he's not. It's 3 inches. He couldn't quite get the far enough advance. He's like 3.1 away.
He might have to charge him with the Foul Blade spawn then.
You're charging with the Demon Prince at the very least.
But why not both?
Why not? Oh, why not both? Because the Foul Blade spawn advanced.
Oh, that radius on the left is the -1 to psychic tests. Rage gauge. Don't worry about it. You're fine.
They're doing scrambles. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. We'll go ahead and put the mortar
You didn't tell who the sponsor of the stream was yet? As far as I'm concerned, the sponsor of the stream is the person who's currently allowing me to squat in this new place to live. Without him, I would not be streaming right now.
Can't fuck around with it too much. So, you're not shield.
What?
So right now, the reason why there isn't a whole lot of analysis on my end is because the game,
I will
at this point,
do I get the CP
is
back?
not difficult to play. At a certain point, the game becomes easy because the ideas are easy to find. Right now, movement blocking this Achilles Dreadnought is probably the most skillful thing he had to do, and warp timing onto the objective here is really, really good. Everything else over here is just moving forward, charging, and killing. This is down here is kindergarten. We are learning our ABCs on the southern flank. Northern flank a little bit more technical. Slow Wolf is a full-time streamer. Ah!
Lives.
You can go ahead and support me over on my Twitch if you want, though.
Next guy.
One Scion left alive!
This guy lost 4 this turn. Or 3 this turn.
Yeah.
How much CP?
We'll stubborn
No,
there.
he's out of
We'll go
CP.
Morty there. We'll go entries into the Achilles.
Okay.
With it. Wound.
Oh no. The Achilles takes
Damage,
4. I think the Achilles is dead. As we said before, entropies are a pretty guaranteed way to stop it. Oh, but not today!
I'm allowed.
I just choked on my crazing. That was an excellent roll. Achilles is still alive with 2 wounds.
See, your 6s have been nice, my friend.
Oh.
That's on the Scion guy.
That was a great roll.
Good job. Okay.
Normal Glorak rolls. Tell that to his earlier turns, Protocultures.
Shoot a. I gotta start cracking it, I guess.
Sorcerer's gonna throw. With what line of sight, dude? With what line of. Oh, are you kidding? From the tip of his sword to the tip of his base?
Okay.
Oh, the cheek! The cheek!
We can actually do tip of sword to tip of fist as well.
Cheek! We got the Death Guard Demon Prince who's got his Plague Spewer thingy. He's looking for someplace to fire it, but he's out of range with all of his flamers. Oh, come on. How can he see him?
That model. Yep.
He's just out anyway. Point 2 out. Okay.
No, and he's just dead anyway, so it didn't matter.
So charge phase. So death strike.
Charge time.
And the place one advanced. So it's just the demon prince.
Hold on, does EDT have, he's got an hour and 1 minute left. Glorak has 37 minutes left on his clock.
No, they're counting up, not down.
Never mind, EDT's used an hour and Glorak's only used 37 minutes.
Yeah. So I should have had banners. But, oh well.
Nope.
Okay.
You got 1 CP left, EDT. Are you going to reroll the charge?
I'm gonna say no.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Let's use some movement. You have no way to so can't be that worried about it. Blade spawn is just outside 3 to make you. Oh, can't make you fight last. 2 inches.
Like you said. Nicely done, Pants.
Over here. So you can't get to the sorcerer, right? Because I'm an inch off the wall, and you'd have to come within an inch of this dude. That's not accurate. You have to come within
To
an
make
inch
him
of this
closer,
dude, and
yeah.
it's-
Yeah, so the Achilles Dreadnought cannot get to the Sorcerer this turn. We'll have to charge the Fetid Bloat Drone and kill it.
You can bother charging me, I'll let you charge me. Okay. So yeah, no charges in it. Oh no, over here, I guess top corner.
The Scions. These little heroes have been doing a great job.
According to the laws.
Surviving against this Death Shroud Terminator. Currently rolling out Morty, I think.
There you go.
And the Telamon dies.
He's
And
dead.
then-
No, never mind. Those are the Scions. The Scions are dead.
This way. You get to fight first over here.
Okay, this might be. This is the hero moment.
Twos. Yep.
Why was the
Oh, 4 up invulns, man. That
Just
does 3 damage.
why was the Telemon hitting on 3s there? It's on bottom bracket.
They do.
Well, it
That
barely
monster,
mattered.
So 7 attacks.
Sadly, unless if you want to actively judge this one, Pants, and that's your call to make.
And
That's what they were working with.
Okay. Hold them. Okay. Does he
Lots.
explode?
And I don't think it's going to matter enough. No, he does not explode. The Telamon is super dead.
And I will just engage some scions.
Yeah, okay. Engage on all fronts wise. That's still, it's still only going to be 2 points, since these cultists aren't wholly within this quarter.
And I did get my asthma off, right?
But yeah, this is going to be a. This is definitely a game right now. It's EDTs to lose.
7.
That's a point. With miasma, that Telemon could have been hitting on 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 7 attacks.
And it hilariously didn't even matter.
5s.
Well, only took 2 wounds off.
You know what? That might matter.
6s.
If you want to go ahead and call that, go for it, dude. But it's maybe a bit late, and it'll stop the game and really inhibit it right now. And I don't think it matters to the outcome.
Box on you, and I got Do you want to engage?
I mean, it is incumbent upon
I forgot.
TDT to remember his own buffs and call for them to be applied.
5 primary.
Yup.
Yep. So many secondary points I could have been in.
Let's take a look at these points right now. Primary wise, 5 points. They're holding 2. And they'll maybe be able to hold another 2 by the end of their last turn. Deploy Scramblers is not happening. Data Intercept goes off for 2, I think. Cut off the head is not going to happen now. There's not enough DACA on the battlefield to actually kill Mortarion anymore. It's just a rough time for our friend Glorak right now. Let's go ahead and listen to see what they're saying right now.
Is it short enough? Okay. These guys just have to hold Mortarion up for a turn. Is there no way of killing him?
Funny joke.
Okay. I don't know.
At this point, if he's playing for points, the only way he could do this is if the Contemptor charges and somehow kills Mortarion. Scions fall back.
And then the Tempest of Prime.
He's going to tell them to get back into the fight, getting them to shoot after falling back. Makes sense. Maybe Plink off
Sixes to wound can still happen.
Right, on
And
to
it is a perfect profile for it, really.
the shooting phase.
1 damage and enough
So
AP to
he's
get to the
gonna order
invuln.
them to fall back and shoot. The Achilles is going to pump everything to Mortarion, because I need to try and take some while we stand off you. 3s. 4s. 2 AP2.
Hey, that's all right. No, never mind. It's not all right.
Morty has been saving. Very above average.
1 AP3.
Oh my god.
Okay. I'll spend the command point. These 5 scions will all throw grenades. I get the command point back. Yep.
Okay. This is a stratagem I didn't know existed, but yep. Okay, 5 grenades. Let's go.
Are they in range to all 5 grenades?
So 5 crack
They
grenades.
could be, honestly.
He's measuring about 5.5 from the front row.
If I had rerolls, I'd be doing a lot more. But
Oh no, okay.
so 4s, 6s count as 2 hits. So still 4 hits.
Not bad. Oh,
Then crack grenade from the Science Tempestus. The prosecutors are doing the action this turn.
if those prosecutors don't die this turn, I'd be impressed.
Yeah, prosecutors doing the action. Why on earth isn't the shield captain doing the action?
I think that Glorak might have forgotten that he can do this with characters.
Empty into this cultist squad.
Oh, good grief.
2d3 hits with the flamer. 3. Winning on 2s.
Heck yeah, best
3
strat.
AP2.
What's really fun is if you can pull that off with GSC and their bikes. Just a bajillion demo charges, something dies.
and
Your
shots
choice.
Conspicuous.
Of what, really?
Stationary. 2s. Reroll 1s.
Also funny with Death Corps
18
Grenadiers.
Those cultists just lost 8 of their number, and they're dead. Yeah, okay, great. The cultists are super toast.
Cultists doing what
Okay, so
cultists
low
do.
ground.
Okay, so the Achilles up on the northern side now, shooting into the drone to try to do some extra damage there. Someone used that? Yep, down here. The Scions actually did it.
1.
Take 2.
Spear. 2s. 3s.
Oh, no.
Nope. Yeah, I've had some shocking dice this game. Oh well. Charges. Achilles into Bloat Drone and the Sorcerer.
Yeah, okay.
Can you fit?
Yeah, he should be able to fit.
Wall?
No, ooh, right, because clipping is a thing.
If I go grab the other one of them, it's over here. So from here, I could go.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, that works.
You're clipping my model, though.
Am I clipping the model?
Clipping my model, for sure.
I'm not seeing any model clipping there.
I don't see any model clipping either.
Because I know I can fit between the terrain piece. It's just a question of
You just
would
clip the model.
would that be within?
Yeah, that's within an inch of both for sure.
Would that be within an inch? Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah,
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
that looks
Yeah.
good, I think.
That 100% looks good, EDT.
Okay, that looks good.
So it needs a 3-inch charge to get to there.
All right.
It needs a 3-inch charge.
Look, that Contemptor Dreadnought has not rolled above a 4 for those charges.
Bumping up the wound, I guess.
He's apparently doing exactly what he wants to do at the pace he wants to do it. This is Brother Tortoise, and he is here to now take some names.
This Oculus is going to come punch Morty.
No, he's not.
It's not. It's going to get... I need to kill him.
CP reroll the 6 should be enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now the Achilles is better in combat than the Telemon was.
Okay.
So there's a chance Morty dies.
And no more.
I guess I will do...
It's
one
possible.
into Morty first.
Morty first. Okay, these are big rolls right now.
So I don't even have CP intro.
So, 3s.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, 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 no. Oh, no. Oh, come on! Morty!
This is really good.
Baby!
This is going to put...
Who made you 490
one into the
points? It's not fair.
And the other 4 into the boat drone.
Good lord.
1 into the sorcerer. 2s.
The sorcerer is dead.
83. Yep.
Okay, so I'll roll 6 up.
The sorcerer is
Alright,
dead.
and I'll spend 1 CP and I'll pass that save.
What? What? What do you mean auto pass the save? What stratagem did I just miss, Pants?
He didn't name it. I'm unfamiliar with it, but it's funny.
2s. 3.
What? Auto pass this?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
It's a word bearer
Yeah,
strat.
4 damage.
Oh my god, and it's still alive on 1! Oh.
D3 plus 3, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not good. Right. 4 slash 2 already. So you're saying 4 after reduction or 4?
Okay.
Or 4?
4 after reduction, yeah.
4
I
after.
rolled a 2 on the D3.
Gotcha.
That is supreme cheek,
You
sir.
fight back.
So, this Achilles Dreadnought is dead. This Achilles Dreadnought is damaged, but dead during the next psychic phase, guaranteed. If not, I mean, dude.
And 4 2 ones. Okay. That's
It's alive.
Is it?
Cheese it! And EDT continues to just stomp around doing his thing. Now the sorcerer gets to try it with the 4th sword, also known as a lightsaber. Practically. Okay, 3 hits. Needs 5 to wounds here. 1 wound. This still is a potential kill, though. Nah. 6 up save is fine.
still not racked.
God damn it. Rerolling 1s because he's... Ugh. Okay, needs a bajillion 4-up invulns. It's possible! That's 9 damage at a minimum.
8, 9, 10, 11...
No, that's 12 damage at a minimum then. Okay, yeah, no, the Achilles Dreadnought is gonna die. Yeah. Does it explode? No. That's the end of the Achilles Dreadnought, which leaves poor Glorak with 1 Dreadnought, 2 Custodes, 5 Sisters, 5 Scions, and a Tempestor Prime left alive. At the end of EDT's
so
turn...
10 primary...
4. That was... It's worth remembering that was the Custodes' turn.
I messed up with my secondaries. Is everyone alright if we just talk this last round out? Because this is
Absolutely.
I tried to stick it out for as long as I could, but between knowing that I messed up like as soon as the game started, and then the dice rolls haven't helped. I'm not feeling particularly positive right now.
That's fair, dude. Go ahead and talk out the game then. And then we'll meet you in one of the Discord channels for an interview. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, let's just talk it out. Let's say Morty comes here.
Alright, so at this point, Morty's literally just going to come in here and wipe out everything without really even trying. On this side, honestly, the Fetid Blow Drone could fall back, so could the Sorcerer could fall back, and then just entropy cannons and mortars and everything into this Dreadnought. The Telemon now is kind of stuck doing whatever he wants to do. This objective is untouchable, as is the Southeast. Really, and there's nothing that Glorak is going to be able to do. At this point, he's going to score another 5 points for primary, and that's about it, sadly. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say EDT's our winner here today. And what a win. What an incredibly powerful win that was. I don't really know what else to say. Like, we've seen this before. The main deal with this guy is that he just warp times Morty eventually. But in this case, it was a really smart play. Ended up keeping him hanging back, denying cut off the head, and a variety of other things, just to make sure that cut off the head wouldn't be worth any points. Like, he didn't just throw Morty in expecting him to survive. He was like, you know what? No, let's just make sure he's alive for 3 turns at least. And then at that point, call it a day. The Custodian player literally said he messed up a lot. No? Yeah, that's true, Seraph Paints. That's absolutely the case. He thinks he made some choice decisions, but we'll have to see how it works out. Here we go. Alpha 1. At the pants. There we go. Cool. Cool. So that should get everybody into here. There we go. And Pants, hello. Welcome back.
We are with Glorak.
Yeah, and at this point, yeah, there's Glorak. Okay, so cool. At this point, EDT, you've won. Congratulations. And Glorak, like, glorious attempts there. There was glimmers of hope, but a couple of things seem to have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it all went horribly wrong. As soon as I picked secondaries, I tunnel visioned, and I shouldn't have done. I tunnel visioned on killing Mortarion because I know my list can kill him rather easily, to be honest. Like between the 3 Aculus and the 2 Telemons, they kill him in combat, and they can actually. I've got enough shooting to kill him as well. But I tunnel visioned, and that the secondaries. I should have taken banners. I should have taken engage. Scramblers was a no-go in that deployment type. It's a particular mission that I dislike. Fighting intelligence is like my least favorite mission, just in general. So,
Yeah.
I love vital intelligence.
Well, I personally think Vital Intel is just a badly designed mission.
Why do you think that?
It partly comes down to the who goes first win rates that come from it, because it's like an 80% go first win rate.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
But then one of my favorite missions is the Scouring. But
You know he's a psychopath.
I know you guys don't play the Scouring, partly because it's difficult to make maps that work for it, that also work for other missions.
Yeah.
But if you have a map that works for the Scouring, it's probably one of the best designed missions in the game, in my opinion.
It is particularly harsh for some armies to play, but it is a very interesting mission for sure.
It encourages interaction, and that's Vital Intelligence kind of doesn't.
Yeah, Vital Intelligence, I like the idea. I love the number of objectives, but the fact that it does have that I went first, ergo I win rate that it has is pretty indicative of a problem, sure. That said, there are chances to still win, and your list is vicious, as someone said in the chat here. Specifically, Corkin.
I mean,
Yep.
It can be. It has since evolved from what it was when the Alpha League started, and the newer version of it actually has an even easier time into Death Guard, and beats Drukari.
Hey, now that's some big fighting words right there. I'm pretty sure everybody here is expecting that Drukari player numbers are going to go skyrocket by the next season, right? So,
yeah. I have to change very little about my list to beat Drukari with it, but let's just say that there's even more strength 6 shooting in it.
So there's as far as secondary choices go, you picked Cut Off the Head. Like you said, you had Tunnel Vision. Cut Off the Head is famously, I think, like the second worst secondary in the game, if not the worst.
Yeah.
Not into my list always, though. Not always into my list.
The way I figured it was, if he throws Mortarion at me, I kill him by the end of turn 2, and that's 10 points. If he holds Mortarion back for 3-4 turns, then that I get a couple of points, and it means Mortarion hasn't been an impact on the game for like the first half of the game.
Yeah, those are all things that Pants and I discussed, and that made sense. But
the tunnel vision, when I could have been taking engage in all fronts, raise the banners, and like as we discussed in the game, like I'd have had like another 15, maybe 20 points coming my way if I'd have taken those secondaries and just played a cagier game and said, well, you come to me because I kill your stuff.
Yeah, and his stuff is a lot slower than yours, and as we saw, those Plate Burst Crawlers did almost nothing all game. Like, they were not important as far as doing damage this game, at least. Great for screening, though.
Yeah.
They could.
I haven't met anyone that has been willing to screen out the 5-inch deep strike to that extent. Obviously, vital intelligence it's got a particularly small deployment zone as well.
Yeah, it does.
So again, that was a bad pick for me to take scramblers.
Yeah, corner deployments are really bad for it, I found, and
yeah,
it's very difficult against 2 Blade Burst Crawlers. They just cover so much ground, even with a 5-inch circle.
Yeah,
gone down. EDT, would you have still been able to screen out the third turn scramble?
On which one? If what happened?
The blow drone that survived all the shooting while you were screening with it.
Oh, the blow drone that just rolled nothing but 5s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was prepared to. I would have done the Warp Time Cultist play a turn earlier.
Sure.
Yeah, that was the idea. Yeah, I was committed to it.
Yeah.
5 inches is tough for sure. Like 5 inches is like really difficult, but like you saw, I pulled back a drone early into the corner just to sit there, which like it wasn't getting me that much value. But at the same time, the drone doesn't go into anything in his army effectively either, except for like Vanatari maybe.
Yeah.
So like,
and even then I can transhuman. Yeah.
Yeah. Drones punching dreadnoughts is a waste of my time. So, like, if it was doing positional stuff like engaging or screening, then it actually was getting its value.
Yeah.
I think we were like kind of in agreement that secondaries were the most deciding factor. Like when we rolled up, like this is a map, and especially playing my army 1,000 times, like I roll up Survital and I know my 3 secondaries. They're just part of like the list at that point. It's like engage because it's triangle deployment. Always stand because that's always baked in, and then data intercept is like a healthy alternative to banners, which banners is fine too. So I knew I had.
I play a lot of T5S2 where you basically don't end up playing Vital Intel. Like they have it as part of the map pack, but they just don't play it very often because. The go first win rate on it, like there's so many complaints about that mission.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. Haven't seen that data, but I imagine like an army like Drukari would be fine going second and getting bottom of turn hold more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Drukari get 15 in like 3 turns. Just take their intercept.
Yeah, the go first win rate is like pretty much based off like I would imagine like scout deploy stuff counting as holding mid-board objectives?
No, the go first win rate for that mission actually went up with Dark Angels. Because they started like they'll play the like their standard like While We Stand or Oath of Moment, and then they'll play the Stubborn Defiance, and the unit that's getting Stubborn Defiance is also the unit that does the action.
Yeah.
And then they just like hold all 5 objectives in the middle and their home one, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. If we go back to secondaries for a second, so like, given I knew kind of what my secondaries were going in, and then like kind of depending on what he picked was going to dictate how I played. So I don't think Cut Off the Head is a bad pick necessarily. Like some people have taken it, the most someone's gotten is 10, but people do often get like 6, which is round 3, and it's like a fine play. But I think in this like,
I needed the points rather than denying.
Yeah, like I was set to just engage. Like I knew that basically I always like to match up secondaries. So we both have data intercept. Those are going to be basically a tie. We're each going to get 3 a turn or something. And then he has deploy scramblers, which if I don't manage to screen him out, he'll get his 10 on. So I need to engage for at least 10. And then it would come down to my While We Stand versus his Cut Off the Head, assuming we just tie on primary. And my While We Stand is like anathema to his Cut Off the Head. So if I just sit my 3 While We Stands in the back, he gets a 0 on Cut Off, I get a 15 on While We Stand, and
it's a 30-point swing. Yeah.
As soon as turn 3 rolled around and Morty was still alive, I was like, yeah, Glorak is so far in the back foot right now, it requires a miracle for him to win, just because Cut Off the Head is costing that many points.
Right.
Yeah,
even though the board state didn't like reflect that, but it's like the points in that moment.
Like if Morty had gone down, and if like if I'd have made it through that first drone and then made it into the second drone, those Aculus that were at the top could have made it into his Plague Burst crawlers by turn 5, and then that could have been reducing. But again, it's all hindsight.
Yeah, and the Demon Prince did some work surviving the Achilles, blowing up your Calexis, all that stuff. It was just That's the second time he's been on.
I forgot so much about his list. Like I forgot the Plague Skull, and after he reminded me of the Plague Skull, I was like, okay, does the Calexis survive on 1 wound here? Like, and yeah, I misplayed a lot. I took the wrong secondaries. Very well played, EDT. Like you.
No, like a beginner player would have probably played EDT's list differently. A lot of people would be very happy to throw Morty out first and just to see the Demon Primarch doing what he does best, which would have given Glorak a whole ton of points, very happily. But EDT...
that would have given me like 13 points on Cut Off the Head because I was going second, so I get 2 turns to punch him.
And like not only that, but you'd be denying him the 5 points from While We Stand We Fight. And yeah, like that's what a beginner player would have done. But EDT does know how to play, and it was well played from both sides, which is why it ended up the way that it did. Cut Off the Head is a bit of a flex, maybe. And it's one of those things that I'll never take, but I'll always think about fondly.
It was a bit of a flex pick because I knew that my list could kill him. But in the same sense, being tunnel visioned like that is how you lose games.
Okay.
EDC, to what extent did that secondary pick change how you played this?
It was 100%. Like Morty, like the other thing was he has the Calexis, so if I go into him turn 1, he's going to fight last Morty, and then 3 Dreadnoughts will punch Morty, and that just goes poorly. So I don't know if anyone.
You roll all your 4-ups.
Yeah, which didn't hurt. I expected Morty would be on like 6 by now, which would probably feel more right. But like in that last game I played against the Space Wolf guy, I think some people caught that. It was like against 3 Redemptors, and he's got Armor of Rust for Fight Last, and it's like, okay, if I charge turn 1, I get Fight Lasted, and then 3 Redemptors punch me. So like in those kind of matchups, there's just no world in which I'm going to shoot Morty at you turn 1. But knowing that I could sit on Cut Off the Head and also kind of get some deployment screening from Morty just hanging out, like I definitely wasn't going to send him out earlier than turn 3, and even turn 3 I thought about not doing it.
Pants
But
is
I
debating that
realized, yeah, I still thought about not doing it, but I figured, honestly, the Venatari, I had to do something about either the Venatari or the Telemon, and my shooting and stuff, like, just wasn't.
You definitely
working.
made the correct pick there, because if you'd have left the Venatari, then they'd have wiped out all of your Poxwalkers, and those other objectives could well have been mine after that.
Totally.
Yeah.
I would say one thing on your end, I thought that the way you split your forces was a bit too imbalanced. Like, if you had had one more Dread with the Contemptor going on the bottom side, I would have been...
It's I played the game as if I had the secondaries I should have had.
Yeah.
The way I moved was as if I was taking banners and engage.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
Yeah.
I would also say, like, I was super deliberate with, like, so, like, I think the triangle deployments, I really like them. They are interesting. Like, I guess they might have a bit less surface area than the other ones in terms of trying to deny scramblers. But the way that the deployment zones were set up with my big L, where everything was hiding behind, I couldn't hang out there and still get engaged in that quarter unless I was, like, really deliberate with either fast-moving things. So, like, you know, the spawn was set up to get there for engage for turn 1 if I rolled, like, a 3. And, like, spawn gets there, it gets me that engage, and then I don't have to throw Morty anywhere. And then the next turn, it's like, okay, the drone's going to do that if he rolls, like, a 1 on his advance. So just, like, very deliberate, like, I had to commit something just to get those 2 engage points. I feel like that was pretty tight play. I fucked up when I knew he had the Scions that could come in within 5, and I knew he could put 5 of them onto my objective against the Poxwalkers, and I just, like, kind of brain farted and was like, I don't want him to shoot my Poxwalkers, and then it let him deny me 5 primary up in the top, or in the bottom, rather.
But, in my previous round, I don't know if anyone caught it, like those 5 Scions, but actually ended up spending 3 command points into a unit of 20 Poxwalkers and killed 18 of them.
Yeah, like, Scions can definitely do the business, and the Iode and Gargones are great. Like, I hate them. They're amazing.
I knew he wouldn't be able to, like, really remove them with the unit that was, like, gonna do the objective thing or whatever it would be. But
yeah, if I'd have come down not on the objective, I could have killed them by, like, throwing 5 frag grenades and having full rerolls to hit and wound.
Totally.
But then that doesn't get me the objective.
Right. So so I probably could have tried to put 2 more bodies, but the thing is, I physically couldn't have placed 2 more bodies. Maybe it was a tight fit. I don't think. Okay, I'm moving models now, and I'm realizing I could have probably done it. Put 6 models on there, and then, like, you know, did it in a way that, there you go. I don't know. It maybe was possible. Put the 6th body there so that so that play wasn't an option for him.
If you had moved half an inch down, like a fraction of an inch down, you would have actually been able to screen out the bottom of that objective enough to stop him from being able to drop on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, probably could have, exactly, like, little kind of small things that I noticed I messed up. So
yeah, but that's,
that was
like,
definitely an error.
Really small. That's one of those things. Like, if you're up against,
you made tiny little errors, and I made huge ones by picking the wrong secondaries.
Yeah, like, that was a game that was decided in large part thanks to secondaries, but then also, like, if a couple of rolls had changed differently, I think it could have been a little bit more even, depending. But that was a really good game all told. Before we go, though, because we do have to wrap up eventually, I mean, people have to eat and go home and do stuff. Let's go ahead and do the fun questions. Glorak, who in EDT's army gets the MVP award?
Oh, that bloat drone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna give it to my chaos spawn. He rolled a 4 on his advance. He didn't even make me think about it. He just ran out there, got some engage points, and then got shot to pieces.
Oh, that poor guy was vaporized, but he was worth 2 points.
I forgot him in my last couple games, so I'm glad that I remembered that I paid points for him, and he's a model in my army.
And what about people that need to hit the gym? Glorak, who needs to, like, work out a little bit in the gyms, like in the personal gym of the Emperor? Which unit needs to improve?
Or out of his?
Yours.
So I'd actually really like to see the Sister Silence improve. In this
In this game specifically, that Contemptor that failed a 5-inch charge with a reroll
oh yeah.
and didn't shoot me to death.
He
probably
didn't roll
could've
over
done
a 4 for his charges. Not once.
it. Yeah.
EDG, who do you think was the MVP in Glorak's list?
The Contemptors are scary as fuck. They did so good.
They take a little while to get there because the lack of an advance and charge strat for Custodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're scary. So I'd probably say I'm the most scared of them. Sisters of Silence are annoying with the 18-inch denies, but not impossible to play around unless you like is really aggro with them.
Yeah.
My Demon Prince, and I'm gonna knock on wood, don't want to jinx this. My Demon Prince has been rolling no less than 7s on his mortal wounds for the last week.
You roll an average
Just
of 9. If your D3s have become just
Yeah.
2s, you rolled 9 against that Calexis.
Yeah.
He's wiped out 2 Deathwing Terminators by himself with that Plague Skull. He has, on stream...
Three, man.
Three. He's on stream, turned around 2 flanks
He
by
did
himself.
9, yeah. He did 9 wounds with the skull and then a super smiter for 4, I think.
Yeah, it was gross. It was gross. So,
And then the game
he's
after-
MVP.
The game after I played some Deathwing, and he also went he did a flat 6, flat 7 against Dreadnoughts. He's just been on fire lately. I think after that game, he got really hyped up. He hit the gym, and he's just been not looked back since.
And who in your list do you think would need to whose game performance that game was not up to par?
My Sorcerer, I want him to kill his Dreadnought. He poked it, he smited it, he couldn't get the job done. Demon Prince, his sword didn't do anything, but he got his skull in, and I just didn't want that Calexis to be a problem, so I can't really complain about him since he just did that right off the bat.
I mean, if that Calexis survived on 1 wound, then it would have become an issue.
It would have for sure. I needed that to go off. I advanced him. I was like, please just pick him up. Rolled an 8 mortals, and he's like, okay. And then Morty's 4-ups were pretty bad. I'll definitely admit that. I think we both made a lot of saves, though. I will say.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we both made a lot of saves. There was a lot of not dying going on.
Yeah.
For a while.
What'd you say, Pan?
Custodes versus Death Guard, a lot of not dying, so you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and start off with the victor here, EDT. Is there anything that you'd like to shout out or plug?
Yeah, go check out the YouTube channel, The Competitive Standard 40K. Do bat reps every Sunday, like a lot of tournament winning players on in the New York City area. So if you're in New York, you want to play, or you just want to watch good bat reps, always competitive armies, no jank unless we are having a lazy Sunday. Come check us out.
And Glorak, same for you. Do you have anything you'd like to shout out or plug yourself? Where can people find you?
Yes, so I've got a very small YouTube channel, OBSEC Tactics. We only started a couple of months ago, and we're going to start putting out a lot more content fairly soon. Come check us out, and I'm actually painting up my Custode army to go on the channel and hopefully play it at LGT.
Ooh.
All
We'll
right.
see you on the interwebs. Let's do it.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
We'll get an OBSEC and competitive standard crossover episode one day.
Oh,
yeah,
I want to see that.
that'd be awesome.
That'd be sick.
Definitely.
All right, well, you two get talking, workshop it, let us know what's going on. I'm interested. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank you two for hopping on here and scheduling your game and dealing with my nonsense pregame. For those of you that don't know, behind the scenes, my day was chaos. And as a result, EDT and Glorak were extremely flexible and super nice about that. So I'd like to thank you two again for dealing with that, for that chaos and that Cinchian goodness that it was.
Yeah, it's not a problem. I've got another game in 3 hours. So.
You have fun with that, dude.
Yeah.
Do you sleep?
Who
No,
who
I
sleeps?
don't. I really don't sleep.
Oh dear. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this show up. Look, EDT, ended up taking that game, no problem. And well, not no problem, but it ended up being a very convincing win by the end of it. Sadly, for Glorax, who now Glorak is going to have to go ahead and just be contented with the fact that he made it to the quarterfinals. EDT continues onwards, again being a bit of a crowd favorite as far as the brackets, the prediction brackets are concerned, and we'll have to see how he does in the semis. But that's it from us. Pants, where can people find you and talk to you about things? For instance, asking for Judge.
At Alpha Judge in the Discord. I'm around some of the time. You might get me, or you might get lucky and get someone who's better.
Oh, that's mean to you. And he's been nothing but a jovial servitor this whole time. Again, super thanks to the Pants for coming on and EDT for hooking him up to the casting team, really. That made things a lot easier for me. Finally, a couple of words of wisdom out of, a couple of little post-game announcements out of me here, plugging the TTS40K Community Discord. Go ahead and check that out. We got all kinds of things going on. Games, Alpha League. We got our War on Seven Fronts casual, Crusade kind of league as well. And there are mentors. There are people that are willing to help you out, to teach, to help you understand not just the game, but also how to freaking play it on TTS, because it turns out it's tough to do initially. It's a little bit daunting, but it gets a lot easier once you have somebody else that tells you what to do. So yeah, definitely check out the Discord. We also have a YouTube now. The TTS Discord is, the TTS YouTube. There we go. Mixing up my social medias. I must be getting old. The TTS YouTube ends up having all of these videos go up on it, as well as the podcasts, so you can go ahead and check them out at your leisure. If you missed any part of it, that's where you're going to go ahead and find it, so check out the YouTube. Please and thank you. It's well worth your time if you're up for more content like this. Speaking of content like this, if you enjoyed this, be sure to follow the Twitch. It's super worth. Go ahead and hit that follow button, hit the bell for notifications when these videos go live and these streams go live, so that way you can go ahead and not miss a beat if you've got the time to watch the beat down. Anyway, and we also have a Patreon. If you've got the extra monetary ability to help support us, we can go ahead and actually start purchasing extra equipment and making the stream better and better and better as time goes on. Not just for Alpha League, but for a variety of different things, running extra tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So, check out the Patreon if you are so inclined. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and plug myself here because my svelte voice it could be found on a bunch of different places, and I've been given permission by Malice multiple times. He keeps telling me to do it, so I might as well. Twitch.tv/SlowWolf if you want to find me over on Twitch, at SlowWolf on Twitter, and you can find my own YouTube, which should be starting to see reviews pop up here and or there. As far as last bits of shoutouts go, first off, I'd like to thank Malice for having the community. Second, to Arover for running the tournament. Third, to the entire judge team, like the Pants, for keeping this thing running. Fourth, to our players, for without you, there would be no league or players playing it. And fifth, to you, the viewers, for actually watching the dang thing, because without you, there would be no stream. And without no stream, I would not be here. I would still be a street urchin doing nothing but picking gunk out of my toes. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you folks enjoyed yourselves. Be sure to check out all the things that I said to check out. Stay safe, wash your hands, get your shots when you can for the vaccine, because that's going to be super important for everybody getting back to tabletop. And big thanks to Argo Fox for the music that we are using to keep everybody pumped whilst playing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you folks next time. Bye-bye!
Cheers, everyone.
Yep.